Are you ready? Are we rolling? Can you hear me now?
Yep, ready?
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
No one can stop me now.
Here he is, the godfather of sports radio. Here's Tony Bruno.
Howdy, kids. Yes, we are back, and not better than ever, but better than yesterday. Not better than Ezra. How about that poll, Robin? Remember Better Than Ezra?
What was that from?
It's a group.
Oh.
Do I have to give you one of these within the first? This could be a new record.
It might be.
Ladies and gentlemen, seconds into the show.
Better than Ezra?
Better Than Ezra, Robin. Come on, that's in your wheelhouse.
Oh,
Are you serious? You don't know who Better Than Ezra is?
I'm going to look up a song.
Wow. Yes, Crumb Bums, we are back. And people want to know, when you take a day off and you don't feel good, everybody automatically assumes you're on your deathbed. That wasn't the case. We got up yesterday with the intent of doing a show. I got up early and did Nick Cale's show in Philly on 1210 WPHT. And then I started working on the afternoon show, because that's what I do.
Right.
Around 10 o'clock, I'm up already, get up early to do that show. And then all of a sudden,
You had a migraine.
yeah, I got this horrible migraine. So I said, I got to go lay down. And then I laid down and I couldn't get up. I was shot. I mean, I was like, I had to be exhaustion and a combination of all the stress and stuff. And there's a combination of not just stress, but exultation of the week that's happened between getting the permits, Deadspin being eliminated from the face of the earth. A lot of good things and then some bad things. But the good things are what keep you going, Robin. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
You got to be positive. So when you don't feel good, and the good thing is, I rarely take days off. You know that, Robin. I don't think we've taken a day off. Like, we didn't take off any of the Monday holidays.
No.
We didn't take off President's Day. Any of the
The
Monday
only days
holiday.
off that we take off are out of necessity because we're either traveling or
Exactly.
we're sick.
So we're here for you.
There's no like vacation days.
Yeah, when I'm on my deathbed and I'm sick and I can't talk, then I not because I'm spreading it to the audience. Well, you really can't do that. You know what I mean?
Thank the Lord.
So we thank everybody, because when I post something that I'm not feeling well, automatically, oh my God. And I appreciate that. But if it was something really serious,
I would let everybody know.
Robin would let everybody know while I'm sleeping.
It was not serious. It
No,
was
it
just it was a migraine.
And if it was serious, the Wonder Pets would have told us, this is
is
serious.
Apparently, there's Snowmageddon in Colorado, 40 inches and still snowing just west of Denver in the foothills.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
Damn.
people posting today.
40 inches?
Yes.
Holy guacamole.
I see people posting from their patios. I mean, their patios are and that's the cool thing about Denver. We're getting into that time of the year where you can have a major snowfall, and it's not even spring yet. It's next Tuesday. You can have a major snowfall, or you can have a 75-degree day, and that's what they're going through. And that's why I'm surprised at some of the sports out there.
Right off the bat, I want to ask everybody that is starting to watch, please share the show, like it. Sharing is caring. Share once, share twice, share often. Try to do at least how many times per show should you share?
4 times.
Exactly.
It's the minimum.
At least 4.
At least 4 times. That's the magic word. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got some baseball conversation because, I'm thinking this afternoon it's another beautiful day. Spring training is winding down, Do you realize that next week on the 20th of March, because today is the 14th, today is the Pi Day.
Pi Day.
Pi Day. And every year we celebrate Pi Day.
Yes.
And I'm saying, what kind of pie? Cherry pie, American pie, apple pie, key lime pie.
Well, today, because of Pi Day, we have breaking news.
We have breaking pie news?
We have breaking pie news.
Let's get to it right now.
Since it's Pi Day, the FDA has revoked its outlandish regulations for frozen cherry pie.
Wait a minute. Can you repeat that, please?
The FDA revoked regulations for frozen cherry pie.
Why? You weren't allowed to.
Apparently,
you couldn't buy frozen cherry pie.
No, they had extra regulations just for cherry pie, not pumpkin, not
Are you
key
serious?
lime.
Since when? In this
Like
country?
all the other
Is this America?
Yes, all the other fruit pies had regular standard regulations, except for cherry pie. Cherry pie was held to a higher standard than any other frozen fruit pie. We don't.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm in the pits now thinking of that. Cherry pie
Yes.
is not allowed to be bought frozen?
No, it was, but it had higher standards for how it had to be frozen, the length that it was allowed to be frozen. It had, I mean, it was all sorts of stuff. So bakers who wanted to make cherry pie, it was difficult for them. So the FDA, in honor of Pie Day, finally allowed bakers.
Here we go, Robin. You know what I got to do, right? Bring out the warrant, ladies and gentlemen. You're under arrest.
Well, I'm already doing it, Tony.
Are you playing Sweet Cherry Pie
I am.
by warrant?
I am.
Come on, crank it up, Robin. This is one of those Pete Sheppard songs that he likes to play in the morning. Great strip club song.
It is. So the new rule will go into effect April 15th. So for those cherry pie lovers, congratulations.
So you can't get a cherry pie now in a store before April 15th?
Frozen cherry pie has been the only variety of fruit pie or frozen fruit pie that required separate standards until now.
That's bullshit. Didn't they have tasty cake cherry pies? You know, the tasty pies that you used to only get in Philly, but now they're everywhere?
Were those real cherries, though?
Of course they are.
Were they fake?
By the way, Warrant will be on concert tour again this summer, Robin. Actually, right now, they'll be in Florence, Indiana at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Belterra Casino Resort. If you're in Florence, Indiana on the 23rd, which is next Saturday night, then they're going to Detroit, March 28th, and then Grantville, Pennsylvania at the Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. So Warrant, ladies and gentlemen, Warrant on tour. I wonder if they still look like that. Remember, they had the great hair back in the day.
I can pretty much guarantee.
Well, they look like battered performers.
Somehow I have a feeling. Here, let me see if I can find a current photograph of Warrant.
Yeah, let's get a Warrant update. Not a warrant for your arrest.
No.
But she is my cherry pie. Not Pi Delta. Not Pi Delta. Is it Pi? It's Pi Delta Pi, right? What up, yo? It's Steak and BJ Day today, too? I thought that was tomorrow. I can't keep my holiday straight. But today is Pie Day, which has nothing to do with cherry pies. And since it has something to do with math, I don't get it. I don't understand Pie Day, Robin. Because pi r squared, right?
Pi is the ratio between the circumference and the diameter of a circle.
It's not the circumference, Robin. It's the length.
In this case, it is. In this case, it's all about the circumference. That is what pi is, and it's 3.14331. And it is an irregular number, so it means that it goes on and infinitum.
I've been irregular lately, but you know what I mean? You got Metamucil for that.
By the way, this is a photograph of Warrant. Here, let me make it bigger.
Let me see what they look like.
I'm going to make it bigger for
you. I want to check them out, because we all age. I mean, some of us age nicely.
They actually aged surprisingly well. I know, right?
Dude, they look more badass now.
They look pretty darn good, considering.
Warrant, yo.
Yeah.
I got to go see them at a local casino somewhere. Maybe are they coming here to Florida to the?
I'll see if I can find
the Hard Rock Seminole Casino.
I do not know, but I have to say they've taken care of themselves.
Well, you know, some guys do and some guys don't, and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean, Robin?
I do.
Meanwhile, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So it's Pie Day, and guess who we have? I was thinking about him today because it's another beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. It's nice on the East Coast, like in the 70s, except in Colorado where it's snowing like crazy. At least the ski resorts will stay open. But we've got NFL New Year. Yesterday was the first. So today is the Happy New Year NFL because their New Year started yesterday. There are still a lot of free agents out there that have to be signed. There's a vitamin D is trending now on my X account. By the way, if you'd like to follow me on X, you don't have to be on X to follow me. But Dr. Pierre Corey, I guess, was talking to Tucker Carlson, and he said, Big Pharma is terrified of vitamin D. Why? Because it threatens the disease model. A new meta-analysis out of Italy, published in the journal Nutrients, has unearthed some shocking data about vitamin D. How about that, Robin?
Is this good?
No, it's good. Vitamin D showed a 60% effectiveness against the incidence of COVID-19 in randomized controlled trials. Vitamin D showed about 40 to 50% effectiveness in reducing the incidence of COVID-19 in observational studies. Well, don't they usually observe when they're doing studies? No, it's
so.
randomized control studies, and then they're the one. Anyway, for preventing severe COVID-19 cases requiring ICU care, vitamin D supplementation was about 70% effective. So we don't need to lock ourselves outside or inside for years, be afraid and vilify our neighbors for not wearing a mask. All we need to do is go outside, get some sunshine, increase our vitamin D levels, and everything, would be fine. And I agree, but you know what? Even though we live in the sunshine now, and we're out in the wintertime, and it feels good, I was diagnosed as vitamin D deficient.
Yes.
And I never thought I would ever be, because I always drank a lot of milk.
I could have told you, because that is one of the symptoms of that seasonal affective disorder, which you have had in Philadelphia.
But I didn't have it this year in Florida.
No, you did not.
But when I went to get my normal, I get physicals like every 4 months now. How many months, Robin? 4. Every 3 months. So every 3 months would mean 4 times a year,
yes.
right? So I get 4 times a year. How many times a year? 4. So my doctor says, go get blood work. And I get the blood work, and they check all the cholesterol and all the other stuff. And then Robin went to the doctor and had hers. So I'm going in a couple of weeks, and I'll get my next blood test on April 2nd. And then, a week later, the doctor will say, come on in, and I'll give you the results. And so that's what you do when you get old. You get blood work done. You make sure everything's all right. And he told me I was vitamin D deficient. And I didn't even realize, you can get vitamin D in multivitamins.
Yeah, actually.
But I have this super high potency vitamin D that's only by prescription.
I know. Well, what the Fauci is saying, I take 5,000 units of vitamin D3 every day. I've never gotten COVID, and I've had a cold only once in 4 years.
Yeah, and I used to take vitamin D3, and it's, in all the multivitamins, there's vitamin D in it. But I was really, in fact, I just took my vitamin D tablet. How many units is in that, Robin?
I think it's 50,000.
It's like
a huge number.
You can't get it over the counter.
No.
You can't. You have to get it by prescription only.
Because you have to be careful.
Yeah, you can't overdo it.
If vitamin D is one of the ones that you can take too much of, and then it's bad for your liver and stuff. So you have to find a good balance.
I take it once every 2 weeks. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's the latest, and I think that's encouraging news. Again, we've had COVID, we've got the shots and all the other stuff, but vitamin D, and I just took one, and I feel a lot better already today.
Good.
Robin. Take your vitamins, kids. Uncle Tony says, go into that medicine cabinet. Stay away from all that hardcore shit.
I'm gonna check if it's really 50,000, because that does sound like an awful.
No, it's in the It's actually, I have it where all of our vitamins are, but I just took one today, and they're expensive, and most of them are not covered by insurance. But I don't care. I'll pay whatever the price is. And they only give you like 4 of them. How many do they give you? Let me see those babies right here, Robin. Well, let's start off with health and wellness, because we got a lot of baseball news. Hey, we're talking about the weather here in Florida, and it's beautiful. So I was thinking today, I said, who we haven't talked to? We haven't talked to a really good baseball guy.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite baseball guys is Buster Olney from ESPN. In fact, we ran into him last year at spring training. He was doing an ESPN game at the Red Sox Stadium, and I was sitting right in front of them. And I waved hi, said hi to him. And so today I said, I wonder where Buster Olney is. So we call him, and he's here in Fort Myers, Florida.
Know.
So I said, we got to get him on the show. So Buster Olney's going to join us in an hour from now, and he'll give us all the latest, because there's so much baseball news. And the season starts next Wednesday, the 20th. It starts in Seoul, South Korea. And the Dodgers will be heading over to Seoul, South Korea, and the San Diego Padres. So they will play 2 games in 2 days in Seoul on the 20th and 21st. But the rest of Major League Baseball has its opening day on Good Friday. That's when the baseball season starts, which is on the 29th of March. So we're only 2 weeks away, the final couple of weeks. And there's a lot of news, obviously, and the Yankees are always one of the top stories. And Garrett Cole, now how long will he be out, and what will the Yankees do? They spent all that money last year, had a disappointing season. And now if their ace has to be shut down for an extended period of time, what do they do? So we'll talk with Buster Olney about that. A lot of baseball developments. The San Diego Padres got Dylan Cease from the Chicago White Sox and all kinds of other stuff going on. So we'll talk about baseball next hour. We got hockey. We got crab cake updates. We got Selection Sunday. We got college basketball tournaments going on as we speak. We've got golf, the TPC, baby, 50th anniversary. And we'll keep you up to date on the leaderboard there. We'll have a hockey action update tonight. We have another scandal, another highway robbery. We've had people, ladies and gentlemen, who hijacked another truck. And it wasn't even in Philly this time, although somebody in Philly is claiming responsibility.
Yes, it is.
In fact, we should do this update right now, Robin, because this is really breaking news. Because tonight in the National Hockey League, your Pittsburgh Penguins are doing a Jaromir Jagr bobblehead night. There's only one problem with the Jaromir Jagr bobblehead night. Jaromir's going to be there, and, they're going to retire his number and all that stuff. But they were supposed to give out bobbleheads tonight to the fans. But guess what happened? Somebody jacked the bobblehead truck. And it wasn't in Philadelphia where most of the hijackings, but it was another place where there's a lot of hijackings and robbery. Mm-hmm. It was in California. So I guess the truck that had the bobbleheads.
Right.
And so what I'm thinking is, obviously they were made in China, right? And they arrived at the port in California.
Correct.
And then somebody hijacked the bobbleheads of your great Jaromir Jagr.
Correct. And Gritty, the mascot for the Flyers.
Who's also a very, although I'm not a big Gritty fan, I got to be honest with you.
I don't care for him that much.
I know, listen, I'm a Philly fanatic guy all the way. Number one, the best mascot in sports.
Yes.
I don't think anybody will disagree with that, right?
But Gritty posted after the news came out, said, so he took blame for
credit or blame
by posting this, which was from the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. See, I don't know because I didn't see Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, where it's the old grandmother saying, "Tell Cersei, I want her to know it was me." So,
tell who?
Cersei.
Jay Cersei?
It's a character on the show.
Why does she have a flathead top on?
That's a thing.
So Gritty was now claiming responsibility.
Yes.
It's not a terrorist attack. You know what I'm saying?
No, it is clearly they're going to be very disappointed that when they open up the containers that all it contains is the exact same bobblehead. I'm sure they thought it was something way more popular.
Of course, when you're jacking, all the container ships show up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of people look and say, hey, what do you think's in there?
I mean, have you seen the shipments via train where they the UPS and FedEx cars are completely looted in LA? It's an outrage.
Exactly. So anyway, they're going to honor the people. If you're going to the Pittsburgh Penguins game tonight against your San Jose Sharks, the Sharks played in Philly last night. Flyers won that game. But the Sharks then go up to Pittsburgh tonight, and they're playing the Pittsburgh Penguins on Jaromir Jagr night. So if you were going to get a bobblehead, you're not going to get it tonight. But the good news is they will give you a voucher. I didn't even kiss her. So you get a voucher, and you'll get the once they get another batch from China and come in. But somebody said they're already selling these on social media sites.
Oh, I wouldn't be
Maybe
surprised.
Because, a woman was arrested yesterday, and her husband in California. We got to do that update.
It was like a regular house mom, like a.
Yeah, but no, she had a $3 million house. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
in California, that's a cheap house.
Yes.
So there's all these robberies we've seen, like people going into Ulta stores in the northeastern part of the United States,
loading up bags and backpacks.
Now we know where all that stuff's going.
Yeah.
Why people are stealing stuff and just grabbing it and running out. First of all, because they can and never get caught, because the stores aren't allowed to do anything. But the bottom line is, now we know where a lot of that stuff is going. And it's not going to the homes of the people stealing it so they can have the best makeup available. It's going to someone who is reselling that and paying all these criminals to, and again, are they criminals? Yes, because they're shoplifting. But they're not just taking one thing. They're cleaning stores out. So Robin will have that because she's our expert on hair and grooming. You know what I mean? By the way, I got to rip Nick Cale right now.
Uh-oh.
I got to do a Nick Cale update, and I got to rip him right now, and it's not my style to do it. So Nick Cale just tweets on X, and you can follow me at Tony Bruno Nation on Twitter, at Tony Bruno Nation. Robin's on Twitter, X also. What's your handle there, Robin?
Miss Robin Austin.
Miss Robin Austin. This is what he tweets. I can't wait for the day that I retire, move to Florida, toss all of my electronics into the Atlantic, and play golf every day until my arthritis makes me scream. Retirement goals, the Players. So he's watching the Players Championship, not where the Players play, because that's Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta, where the Players play. So that's what Nick Cale's goals are. My goal is to get the damn house built, then take my electronics, throw them all in the Gulf of Mexico, because obviously the Players is over there on the east coast of Florida in Ponte Vedra, and they call it the biggest non-major tournament. It's the fifth major, even though it doesn't count as a major. Most of the big players are there except those live guys, and they're underway on a beautiful day out in Ponte Vedra, the TPC, the Players Championship at Sawgrass. 50th anniversary. Has the biggest purse of any golf tournament, including the Masters. None of the majors pay out this kind of cash. $25 million. So I'll keep you up to date on the scoreboard. So we'll keep an eye on that. We got a lot of college basketball going on. Xander Schauffele, by the way, shot, two guys shot 65. Rory and Schauffele both fired 65, 7 under par. Nick Taylor is 6 under. Bunch of people at 5 under with 67s, and then the 68 group. So we'll keep you up to date on that. A lot of groups just starting in the afternoon round. So that's going on. College basketball is going on. I mentioned we're going to have the great Buster Olney coming up later on. You know what I'm saying? And yes.
And confirmation, it is 50,000
Here it is right now.
But it's vitamin D2.
D2.
Which is easier absorbed by the body.
Exactly right. So D2.
Not R2D2.
No, not R2. And these are like little gel caps, but they're green. See that? These are with vitamin D2, and these are the ones, how many? 1.25 milligram, 50,000 units. 50,000.
That is not for daily consumption.
No, it says take one capsule by mouth. I don't think these are ones you put in your rectum, though. Although, what happens if you would put them in your rectum? You know, you put the little thing over your finger first.
Why would you even consider that?
But it says by mouth. So what other way can I take a pill? You know, what you can when you have when you need to take Wait, let me explain, Robin, because I'm not just making this some tawdry joke. If it says take it by mouth, that means people think about other things. For example, if you need a laxative, right?
A suppository.
You can take a laxative by mouth. You can get an enema bag, the liquid, and squeeze it with the bubble thing.
Right.
Not in your mouth. And then you can get the suppository.
Right.
Which you then you got to put one of those finger cots on.
Which you definitely do not want to eat.
No, you don't eat that. And people will see that suppository and think, hey, it looks pretty tasty. It's better than being a cannibal in Haiti. I mean, how bad could it be? So that's why
Ladies
I clarified that this says that you must take it by mouth.
Yes.
1 time per week. See, I'm taking it every 2 weeks because I don't want to get over jacked up. Because I also take multivitamins, which has some vitamin D. But vitamin B2, D2.
If you are low in vitamin D, that's the way to go.
Exactly.
Joey B., I learn more watching this show than I do watching the Discovery Channel.
You're damn right. And it's not covered by Obamacare. The American Joe Biden is not giving me, as a senior citizen, vitamin D2 for free. And I demand a federal investigation. I demand Congress be called back into special session and find out why I have to pay for vitamin D2 as an active senior who still is trying to take care of his body, mind, and spirit all at the same time. And I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention to this important matter today.
Yes.
Meanwhile, let's get it up to date on college basketball, Robin. Are you ready for some college basketball?
I am. Do you want to do this now or?
No, I got to get the quick scores in
Okay.
here because I don't want to have things back up. Speaking of suppositories and all that other stuff. So game's just getting started. Meanwhile, earlier today, one that just ended a little while ago out of the Big 12 championship, your Texas Tech Red Raiders have smacked around. The early games, there have been a lot of beatdowns in the early action today. Texas Tech beats BYU 81-67. So how many points is that? 67, 68, 69, 70. 80 would be, that's 7, 30. See, there's no math. It's pi day. 70 is 3. So it would be a 14-point win. So Texas Tech wins by 14 over BYU, and obviously Texas Tech is pretty damn good. Although BYU is 23-10, and Texas Tech 23-9, and so they advanced Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, after winning the quarterfinal. Earlier today, the Florida State Seminoles didn't even have enough time to get over the exultation of their elimination of last night's action in the ACC. Remember, last night, FSU knocked out Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament, and then they get right back at it today and then get biblically beaten down. They got smoked by North Carolina, which, oh, by the way, is pretty good, I think, if you're scoring at home. And so that was a beatdown, too. They were 10.5-point favorites, Carolina. They beat Florida State by 24 points today, 92-67. And so, obviously, North Carolina advances in that tournament in the ACC. UConn absolutely destroyed Xavier today in the Big East Championship up at the world's second most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. UConn beats Xavier by 27. Or as I wrote down, UConn X's out Xavier. You get it? Because Xavier spells. See, I try to do clever little Sports Center type old school catchphrase things. UConn X's out Xavier by 27. And by the way, tonight, the great Pete Sheppard will be absolutely glued to the TV, probably on glue at the same time if he likes that stuff. I don't think he's a big glue guy. Providence at Creighton tonight. And then even later on tonight, about 9:20, Villanova, which barely won by the skin of their teeth last night against the awful DePaul. DePaul is so bad, and Villanova needed a shot with 3 seconds left to pull that one out, and they were huge favorites tonight. So there's no doubt Nova was looking ahead to playing Marquette in the next round, and they almost got knocked out. And that's important for Villanova because they're still on the bubble. So let me get my bubble watch system going today, Robin. We got the bubble watch going on again. Don't worry about the bubbles, Robin. They're not going to destroy the equipment. I am a professional bubble man. Look at those bubbles, man.
I told you were going to get yourself in trouble.
How am I in trouble? Did one bubble touch any of the equipment?
You're
and even if
lucky.
it does, how much liquid is in one bubble?
You are lucky. You are very lucky, Tony Bruno. That's all I have to say.
That's skill. No,
You have
Villanova's trying to play themselves out of the NIT. Come on,
bubble
man.
skills.
They're not going to be in the NIT. Villanova needs to win one more game. According to my bubble experts, Joe Lenardi, not himself, but Joe Lenardi's cousin who knows a guy that I contacted. Joe Lenardi says if Villanova wins one more game, they should be in the Big Dance Baby. Because you have to say Big Dance Baby to make it official. Houston and TCU, Big 12 quarterfinal game. Houston, big favorites, obviously the number one team in the country. And we'll keep you up to date on all the games going on. Big beatdowns today. Texas Tech beats BYU. Big. Carolina, big over Florida State. And UConn, big over Xavier. And we like when it's big. Who doesn't, Robin? Because size does matter. We're coming right back. By the way, our lines are open. You know the text number is the same as the call-in number, right?
Yes, we already have somebody on hold.
352-234-8669. I don't even have to look anymore. That's how locked in it is in my brain, which means we'll be changing the number in a couple of weeks, and I'll have to remember that. As you can see, we're feeling better. The vitamin D is working. And I know vitamin D that works at night, too, baby. to quote the Love Master. We're coming back. We got calls. We got texts. We've got updates.
And we're going to go out to some Better Than Ezra.
See, Robin, Better Than Ezra. It's about damn time. You know this song, don't you?
I do.
Crank it up, Robin. We're coming right back here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. Uh-oh.
It was meant to be. Tony Bruno on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
It's just come easier on the water. Our founder, Johnny Morris, and his dad knew this firsthand. They created a boat that was more affordable. Tracker, the world's #1 best-selling fishing and pontoon boats powered by Mercury. Proudly built in Missouri and sold factory direct at Bass Pro Shops and select dealers. For as little as $5 a day, you can own a brand new Tracker and make lifelong memories of your own. Bass Pro Shops, voted America's best outdoor retailer. Save even more and support conservation when you join the club.
Miller Lite isn't running a big game ad this year. They're running 1,000, literally. Like him, and her, and me, Rob Riggle. So while most big game ads give you giant explosions and talking animals, Miller Lite's big game ads give you what you really want. Great tasting, less filling beer. Oh, you want to take a picture?
No, I'm just scanning for beer.
That checks out.
Only Super Bowl winners get a ring, right? Wrong. M&M's presents the Almost Champions Ring of Comfort. It's actual science. First, we took comforting M&M's peanut butter and compressed it into real diamonds.
It doesn't taste like peanut butter.
Don't lick the blame.
Then we polished them with the size of those who almost won a Super Bowl.
Almost.
And Scarlett Johansson.
I've lost 2 Oscar races.
In the same year. Psst, don't tell Marino I gave you this.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Hold your head up, baby. Hold it up. Way up there. Stretch it out. That's it. Oh. Now do you know who Better Than Ezra is, Robin?
I do.
Selection Sunday comes up this weekend, and St. Paddy's Day at the same time on Sunday the 17th. Tomorrow is the Ides of March, March 15th.
Yes.
There's a lot of holidays. You could take off the Ides of March, but I didn't. I waited on a Wednesday. I didn't plan to take off yesterday.
Jack in the Back and Ruth's are out on the Cape Coral Golf Course right now,
Yes.
listening in.
I let Jack borrow my clubs.
Ruth said, can't wait to have Jack and Tony play golf together. We just saw a bald eagle fly over the course.
Well, they saw a bald eagle earlier today also when they got out, and I got my golf clubs out of the garage for Jack, took them out of the storage unit. Well, our garage is our storage unit. But Jack has the Tony. I hope he used my Tommy Armour Persimmon driver.
Sure he did.
Maybe he didn't, because that's a collector's item, Robin. One day I'm going to retire with what I can get by selling my Tommy Armour Persimmon driver. You know, they don't make them like that anymore, Robin. They just don't.
You know what else they don't make them like anymore?
What?
A 117-year-old celebrated her birthday in Spain today.
But I thought we had a caller on the line.
We do, but I just wanted to get this one really.
117 years old.
The world's oldest person, 117 years old, celebrated her birthday. She is Maria Brañas Morera.
Hi.
Oldest living person in. She's a Guinness World Record holder.
How do we know? Does she have an ID to verify it?
She was born in San Francisco.
Wow.
But lived in Catalonia, Spain since she was 8 years old.
You know those Spaniards, man, they always take care of themselves. So
Man.
Is that a Mediterranean diet they eat over there? They eat a lot of non-Mediterranean diet stuff, the Spaniards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But guess who we have on the phone? He was unable to call yesterday because of your migraine status. But we have Jose.
Jose from Norristown, yo.
What up,
Jose? What up, yo?
Hello? Jose?
Hello?
Are you there?
Hello?
Well.
Oh, no. After all of that?
After all of that, and he's not there? What the hell, man?
Now we're getting...
what up?
Oh,
there he is. Jose, what up? What are you watching, the golf, the Players' Championship?
No, I was watching a no TV show on YouTube waiting for you guys.
What was it? Was it like was it NBA, old school NBA classic plays from back in the day?
It's more of a TV show back in the 80s.
Which TV show?
Hardcastle McCormick.
Oh,
I
it.
love
Remember
that show.
Hardcastle and McCormick, Robin? Who was
I
in
do.
Hardcastle and McCormick?
Brian Kelly and Brian Keith and something Brian Kelly, the first.
Brian
the
Keith.
Coyote X.
And the other guy's name was something something, right? McCoy.
Hardcastle and McCormick.
No. I'm thinking of something different. Hardcastle McCormick. I was thinking of the two that played brothers. Hardcastle McCormick was a different guy.
It was Brian Keith, who we know,
Yeah.
who was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's Hardcastle.
That's Hardcastle. And then McCormick, I think he opened a series of steakhouses, and he teamed up with Schmick after he dropped Hardcastle. So McCormick and Schmick's opened up.
Daniel Hugh Kelly.
Is he still around, Daniel Hugh Kelly?
He should be alive.
Let's see. He is.
I don't think
yes.
Brian Keith is around anymore, is he?
No. Daniel Hugh
passed,
Kelly, born August 10th, 1952, is still alive.
Well, he's my age.
And Brian Keith, unfortunately, I believe he passed. Yeah, he
That's
passed in
Hardcastle
1997.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of those Stephen J. Cannell productions. Remember, he had a lot of those shows.
It's a great show.
That's
Mike
great.
Post.
Exactly right, man. That's good knowledge right there.
And the end show of the song is called Drive.
Drive?
Yes.
Remember the car that
Drive.
I had in that show? Sweet
The
ride.
Coyote X show.
It's a big red thingamajiggy. What kind of car was
Coyote
that?
X. It's the Coyote X.
The Coyote S?
X.
X? That was before,
Yeah.
that was before what's his name? Elon Musk.
Yep. Yeah.
Other than that, Jose, what about the and I know you're a big hockey guy because, we had hockey action last night, but we will not have bobblehead action tonight. Did you hear about the hijacking of the Jaromir Jagr bobbleheads?
That's a huge loss, Joe. We've been coming on the go.
People forget Jaromir Jagr played for the Flyers, too. He was obviously a legend in Pittsburgh, but he played for your Philadelphia Flyers as well.
Yes, he did. He played for the Capitals. He played for the Rangers, the Flames, the Stars.
Well, he had a lot of gambling debts. I mean, he had to keep playing so he could pay off all of his bets.
And he's still playing in the Czech Republic at age 57.
Nothing wrong with that. I got to check him out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Other than that, let's get to the business.
Let's get down to the business, yo.
MLB action. I checked out the Philly schedule for the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
What up? Atlanta comes into town on opening day.
And you know when that is? That's Good Friday, the 29th, Jose. The 29th.
Yes. That means Atlanta doesn't want to be here opening day because the last 2 years, each time Atlanta won 100-plus games, we dismantled them in the NLDS. And how many games, everybody?
Let me see. Not one, not two, not three.
Not three.
But how many?
Not 2 consecutive years. But in 2 consecutive years, how many?
4 is exactly right. By the way, we're getting news now. We're getting news now that I don't know how real this is because I hate social media, but there are reports now on the radio station 1010XL, which is a radio station in Jacksonville, Florida. They're the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Florida Gators athletics in Jacksonville. They are now reporting that the Jaguars, well, they got Mac Jones last week, but now there's also a report that they're going to get Brandon Ayuk from your San Francisco 49ers. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's a report coming that they got Gabe Davis, who obviously, signed there the other day.
They're talking about Debo at some point also.
Yeah, but I don't think the Niners are going to get rid of Debo and Brandon Ayuk.
Not in the same year after they just got into the Super Bowl last year.
Exactly. No, I mean, that's the amazing thing because, the 49ers are stacked. The Eagles make a couple, and they bring back CJ Gardner-Webb, Gardner-Johnson, and everybody's happy now because when he left and he went to Detroit, he was taking some shots at Philly. Now he's coming back, and everything's copacetic again. Do you forgive?
I don't forgive things when people leave out the city.
But what happens when they come back? What happens when they come back?
Grace period. I give them a grace period, yo.
Exactly right, man. Everybody deserves. A heart needs a second chance. You know who sang that song, Robin?
Yes.
And that's a song. To me, that's one of the that's the better song from that group. 38 Special. Did A Heart Needs a Second Chance. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was a down-tempo number, but it was good. But what was 38 Special's biggest song, Robin? Do you remember?
Hold On Loose.
Hold On Loose. But, Jose, I got to give you a roaring round of applause, man. You know everything there is to know about anything that matters. By the way, did you hear or watch my performance on the Odd G's podcast with the great Harry Mays and that Jason Martinez? I was on we almost did 2 hours of just riffing, nothing but quality sports information and entertainment. Check it out, the Odd G's pod at AHJEEZ pod, episode 89. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and then you'll say, "What up, yo?"
Yeah. Speaking of Mays, you know what's coming up in a matter of weeks, Bruno?
Let me check. Does it have something to do with golf, perhaps?
Yeah, it has to do with me saying, "What up, Aben Corner?"
Exactly right.
What up, Butler Cabot?
Exactly.
What up, 17T Tower? What up, Hootie Johnson and the good folks at the Masters Club?
Is Hootie Johnson still alive?
I think he passed away, but back in the day, they used to show him.
What about that other broad who used to show up and complain that there were no women members? Remember? There was a woman who would always show up at the gate at Augusta National. And I call her a broad because, that's a broad term.
Yeah.
I mean, is broad offensive to women, Robin?
I actually don't think that one's offensive.
What's wrong with calling them broads? Frank Sinatra called them broads. Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. called them broads.
I think it's
Broad Street was named after broads. I mean, why do you think they call it Broad Street? How many broads have walked down Broad Street?
Don't forget, Broadway.
Yeah, but Broad Street and there's Broadway, you're right. So Broad's getting a lot of attention in New York and Philadelphia and many other cities around this great nation of ours.
Yep. Oh, by the way, what up? Oh, before I do something else. Hello, friends, yo.
Yeah, come on.
I'm Jim Nash, Nick Fowler, with Nick Fowler on 17th Tower, yo.
Yes. You know your golf.
Let's go to Gary McCord on the 10th hole, yo.
And you know who's doing his final Masters on CBS?
Vern Lundquist.
The great Vern Lundquist. This is his final. Speaking of final, you know who may be missing his final Masters as we talk about the Masters? And you won't believe this story, Jose. Bernhard Langer, the great German golfer.
The 1985 champion.
Exact. 2-time Masters champion. He will be missing his first Masters in 40 years. 2-time champ. This was going to be his final Masters. But now he's not going to play. He's 66. He's playing on the former seniors tour. He's won 46 tournaments on the seniors. Active seniors, as Kenny Mann used to say on SportsCenter. 46 times he's won in the over 50 league. And now, you know why he can't play in the Masters?
Why?
Because he messed up his Achilles playing pickleball. And you know who told us that they didn't want to play pickleball? Who? Phil Simms. Because I said, Phil, hey, you're retired. Are you going to go out and play? He said, no. Pickleball is an Achilles tear waiting to happen. And Bernhard Langer, or Bernard, how do you pronounce it in German, Robin? Bernhard Langer. Bernhard Langer, 66. He said he tried to make a move when the ball went behind him, and then he took a step back, and then bam, the Achilles went out. So I've now announced my retirement, even though we have brand new pickleball equipment, which has not even left the package yet that Robin bought, so that we, like every other old stupid idiots that come to Florida, start playing. Not just in Florida, it's worldwide now. I'm going to get back to my serious sport because there's a big, gigantic one right down the street from us. I'm going back to bocce. Nobody gets hurt playing bocce unless somebody picks up a ball and hits you over the head with it. But I'm telling you, pickleball, I'm going to make it. I'm telling you right, Phil Simms nailed it. If you're old and you think pickleball is much safer and easier than tennis, you would be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We now have scientific evidence to prove it is an Achilles tear waiting to happen.
If I was Phil Simms,
only if you go all out.
No, Longer was saying that he played pickleball as part of his regimen of trying to stay in shape. And, it's not a lot of running around. It's not like tennis. And then, there's a pickleball tournament, where McEnroe and all these people play, and that's fine. But they're world-class athletes. A golfer, I don't think Bernhard Langer at 66 is still a world-class athlete. He's a golfer, but I'm sure he tried to stay in shape. That's how he can still win tournaments all over the world. So here you go, pickleball now. I'm just giving people, this is news. This is the kind of stuff that people will use to make a determination on whether they should go out and buy $500 worth of pickleball gear. You got to have the pickleball clothes. You got to have the Skechers pickleball shoes, right, Robin?
Yes.
You got to have all the ointments, suppositories, creams, lotions, and potions to get ready to go out there.
And you
the
have
sunscreen.
to know whether you're taking them orally or elsewhere.
Exactly right. No, shuffleboard isn't available. Shuffleboard's available here, but I'm telling you right now, bocce. I said this before when John Madden and I were doing bocce tournaments at the Campo de Bocce in Livermore and in Palo Alto, California, Robin.
We need to go down to the bocce court that's right down the street and videotape so that you can show your
my
bocce
skills. I'm a champ.
skills.
I have a trophy. I've won multiple bocce championships, Jose, and I don't believe I've gotten the love. Where's my bocce championship trophy, Robin? Where is it? Where's my cup?
It's packed away.
It's in the garage, right? My trophy and my bocce ball signed by John Madden and Steve Mariucci as part of our championship celebration out there in the Bay Area. Robin has it in a box, and it's sitting in a garage where the temperature's 82, and it's probably going to melt now.
No.
It's going to melt.
No.
And then what happens?
It is not, because that is one solid ball.
Exactly right. That's what she said. Two girls, one bocce ball cup? Now, come on, man.
People, keep it clean.
Other than
that.
Before I go, I want to say what up to Miss Robin's kids, and I hope they're listening across the country. What up, Mighty Kimberlyn and Christian?
Well, thank you, Jose.
And don't forget, Jack's in the back is down here. He's playing golf with my clubs today here in Southwest Florida.
Jack, and what up? Happy birthday, Ruth's, yo.
Ruth's. It was her birthday yesterday. Jack's birthday was the other day. There's a lot of March birthdays, Robin.
Yes, there is. Thanks for checking in, Jose.
Jose, always great to hear you, sir. The great Jose. Let's put your hands together for the legendary Jose from Norristown. Harry Maines was asking me about Jose today.
Yeah.
They thought you were in jail.
Whoops. You said goodbye, so I
know I said goodbye.
Okay.
No, they were saying, have you heard from Jose? We thought he was in jail. I said, no, Jose's not in jail.
No, he's not in jail.
He's sitting at home watching old school videos. He was watching Hardcastle and McCormick today.
Great show. Matt Raposa saying that the Campo de Bocce in Livermore is now called Debauchery. Debauchery.
Debauchery, yeah.
They also have axe throwing.
Don't axe nobody.
See,
just go
now
in there
that would be perfect because I'm an axe throwing champion.
Yep, I'm a bocce champion.
You are a bocce champion. We would clean up in there.
Do we have any video of me playing bocce out in the Bay Area, Robin? Because even Jack in the back didn't believe that I did play-by-play of bocce live on KNBR in San Francisco back in, what year was it? It had to be 2008, 7, 8, in that era. Right, Robin?
Well, the first time I ever went with you was in 2011.
But that was the last one up in Livermore, right? Because the first ones were in Palo Alto at the original Campo de Bocce. And the great thing about those places is You know, it's like when you go to a bowling alley. Now there's bowling centers and they have a bar. You know, it used to be you go bowling and you just go out and eat somewhere.
Here's Tony playing.
Look at that. Look at that hand. Look at that motion. Look at the ball. Look at the pants. Look at the concentration.
Look at the pants. I mean, the pants for
look
those
at the
of you
concentration. Look at the release.
Listening only. Those are some special pants.
Some quality shit, man. No, there's all kinds of axe throwing bars down here in Cape Coral.
Well, here's you and Mooch.
There we are.
At Campo de Bocce, he's giving you your team shirt for you to play with.
And what
later.
does it say on the bottom there, Robin? Campo de Bocce.
Dickinson Area Bocce Association.
You're damn right. Now that's quality right there.
And there's your.
There's my championship trophy. And where's me and John Madden hoisting it as we had people. Bless you, Robin. Bless you.
Oh, wow.
Joe, because I haven't seen that many bright stripes since Jesus' amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I know, really. Let me see if I can find you and.
There's.
Hold on.
There's our team out there.
This is all of us.
There's Mooch. There's Robin up there.
Yeah.
The great Giulio Tempesta, and all of our great friends. And where's me and There's me and Mooch. And then where's the one with me and Madden doing play-by-play?
Hold on. Maybe that's farther back.
That was the previous year. But John Madden, I can say now, other than Pat Summerall, I am one of the few people that has ever done play-by-play having John Madden be the color analyst. How many people can say that, Robin? How many?
I think you are probably the only. I don't think that they've ever tried to recreate it.
No, you can't. It's something that can never be done again. And the late, great John Madden, obviously not around anymore, but it was an honor to know him and to play bocce with him and do play-by-play and color
commentary. You and Mooch together. Whoops.
Where's John Madden?
Why is that not there?
I don't know, Robin. Not Dick Insider.
Well,
They have that. They have that now. They don't have the. You get it, Robin? Dick Insider.
Yeah,
I know him.
Hold on.
Nice stroke. Thank you. I can stroke it. Stroke it to the east. Stroke it to the west. Remember that song, Robin?
The camera just has suddenly disappeared.
What the hell is going on back there, as Harry Mays would say? What is going on?
What is going on back there?
I don't know, Harry, but you know what? If this happens again, I'll be pissed off.
Give me a second. Bizarre happened with the camera. All right, there we go. So this is the photograph.
There's me,
and Mariucci.
John Madden, and Steve Mariucci, championship bocce experts. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, folks. You think I bullshit and lie about people that I know? I'm not one of these guys that says, "Oh, I met that guy once, so we're really good friends." I know those people, and when I say I know them, I don't just say, I met him once in a bar, and now we're like lifelong friends. We don't play that stuff on this show. We don't bullshit. We don't bullshit people on the show. Maybe we do every once in a while. But anyway, let me give you an update on, so obviously a lot of people are still out on the course. By the way, now, if you want to bet on Xander Schauffele, who's now, he's atop the leaderboard with Rory McIlroy. So it's plus 600 now on Schauffele to win the Players' Championship. Rory's plus 400. Then Nick Taylor, the Canadian, who's only one shot back, plus 2,500. Tom Hodge. Is it Hodge or Hodge?
Hodge, I think.
H-O-G-E?
Yeah, that would be
Not
Hodge.
Merrill Hodge. Plus 2,800. Jason Day is plus 2,500. He shot 67. And then you got a whole bunch of other people at 68. A lot of 69s in there. Not that there's anything wrong with it. And many players still on the track right now at -3. And they're only through like 7 or 8 holes. Ryan Moore's already in with a 70. Si-Woo Kim. Kurt Kitayama, 70. So 70 right now. A bunch of people there. Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose also shot a 70, which is 2 under. So right now the leaderboard, the best numbers on the board are -7. Those who have completed the first round at TPC in Ponte Vedra, baby. We're coming back We'll get a big baseball update. I'll keep you up to date on all what's going on in the NCAA tournament this afternoon, the golf. We'll have a Peyton Manning update. We'll have a Selection Sunday update. What else are we going to have, Robin? We'll have a crab cake update, too.
We'll have a crab cake update. And because we didn't get to it yesterday, we have an 18 will get you 15 update. 18 will get you 15, baby. That and more is still ahead. We're just getting started. It's a beautiful Thirsty Thursday, Robin. Do you realize that? Yes, I do. And I will not be drinking one sip of alcohol on this show today because I don't want another damn headache. And I didn't even drink any alcohol yesterday. That's the worst part. When you get headaches without drinking, that's an outrage. It is. So I'll pour one out just to make you feel better about it. The TPC, not the toilet paper championships, no. Although there was one earlier in the week when we had a developing situation with Jack and when we were going up to Clearwater. Remember that, Robin? I don't want to discuss that. No, we don't. It's a family show. We're coming right back. Stick around. Coming up on hour number 2, as they like to say on Sports Talk Radio programming, with Miss Robin and the whole gang, you're listening to Tony Bruno Show on what, Robin? On TBSN. Damn right, yo. Don't forget to download the app, Google Play Store, and, of course, on the App Store. The App Store. I can go for a couple apps right now. Stick around.
It was meant to be. Tony Bruno on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Sorry, party's canceled. Waiting on the cable internet guy. Tell him, Zach.
First, I had cable, but those cords weren't me. I needed to find new Wi-Fi. And he cried. I didn't cry. So he switched to T-Mobile. Home internet with 5G. It runs on their network. Just plug it in and you'll see. What a feeling. I have Wi-Fi now. Can't stop streaming. Have some wings to chow. I need home internet from T-Mobile to fulfill my life. My life.
Yeah, what's up?
We have T-Mobile now. Party's back on. Do it again, Bleacher.
It's no good, he missed it. I don't catch. I catch. You're gonna miss, Cross.
You ready to do this?
Not yet.
You gotta let it go, Grunk.
But I can't.
There are no second chances in this life. Only second kicks. Let's get to work.
Rob Gronkowski coming back for the FanDuel kick of Destiny 2. Last year he missed. Will he redeem himself? We shall see.
That leg you got is special. Let's kick some field goals.
This is the redemption kick.
Let's go, one more. Come on, baby, remember what I taught you.
Kick after kick, my leg gets stronger. It's all I think about.
People are going to be picking against you.
They want you to miss. What do you want?
Mr. Gronkowski.
I gotta redeem myself.
You're gonna miss, Gronk. They're all out there saying Gronk's gonna miss.
But there's a million more people that want me to make.
And you're acting like some hotshot kicker, dancing around, showing off that leg.
Don't you see, Carl? He's not a kicker anymore. He's a machine.
Looks unstoppable.
I'm making that kick.
Are you ready to make the kick of destiny this time?
He is ready.
America picks. Gronk kicks.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Now you're going to get me into that like Zen mode, Robin.
Oh no, don't worry.
I don't want to get into. I don't want to
to
have to start going into a meditation and a. You got to play up tempo numbers, Robin.
I do. I'm
It's
mixing
Thirsty
it up. I'm mixing
Thursday.
it up.
Come on, Robin.
Don't you
If
worry.
we're going down, let us down.
Exactly right. The great Buster Olney from ESPN. We'll talk baseball. He's down here in Florida driving around like most people do. What's with the buzz?
Yeah.
I got a good beer buzz early in the morning. Now, there was a lot of stuff in baseball to talk about, so I'm looking forward to talking with the great Buster Olney down here doing some games. But now he's just going to different camps and checking stuff out like I do. So we'll talk to Buster coming up at 1:15. Meanwhile, that was Blind Faith, right, Robin?
Yes.
I know. Listen, I'm not a bad. I don't mind down-tempo numbers, but not when you're starting another hour, Robin. And again, it's not my style to criticize because that's not what I do here. I just make observations. But, I mean, we played a little Cherry Pie earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There was another Cherry Pie song, too, Robin. It was an old-school R&B song. Cherry, cherry pie. Who did that one?
1950s?
Yeah, old school.
That is.
And their
Cherry
song by the
Pie
Runaways was
Marvin and Johnny.
Marvin and Johnny. I know them. And then, of course, you had Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. Remember that song, Robin?
Which.
And the lead singer now is really outspoken and now
outspoken.
getting people pissed off at her. Ridiculous.
T from the Trevor says Miss Robin should play some Metallica or Pantera. I've done that. Tony doesn't like that either.
We played a little Warrant earlier.
I know.
Come on, man. She's my cherry pie. Give me
so-
a little Marvin and who?
Marvin and Johnny.
Marvin and Johnny. This is a great song.
Well, I will. How about if I play it when we go out to commercial? But because you have a story right now, and we
Yes.
have this is a shorter segment because
We want to make sure we get our guest on
yes.
at 4:15 here Eastern Time, as we are live, local and late breaking. So the other story is, of course, Cherry Bomb and this lead singer of the group, the Runaways. What is her name, Robin? Sherry Curry.
Yeah, Cherry Curry. Or Sherry Curry.
Sherry Curry.
Yeah. Now, this next story.
It's something close to my heart,
yes,
Robin.
it is.
And you know what it is, right? Crab. Nobody loves crab more than I do, Robin. We talk about it all the time.
You love catching it.
I like catching the crab.
You love
I like
picking
baiting
it.
the trap. I like steaming the crab. I like crab boil. I like crab cake, crab etouffee, crab imperial, anything with crab in it. But real crab. None of that fake-ass crab that they put in sushi.
Correct.
Which is not even crab meat. It's just some nasty fish that they paint orange on one side. And then they put it in a stupid, what are those things, the cucumber rolls, or what are those sushi things that you eat where they put that crap in?
California rolls?
Is that a California
That's
roll?
a California roll with
But it's got fake crab meat in
well,
it, right?
yeah, it's better with real crab. But
I hate to do it to the people
crab
putting
rangoon.
Yeah, crab rangoon,
But
crab etouffee.
Somebody got an extra bonus when they signed with their
Yes,
team.
ladies and gentlemen, you know want to know why Derrick Henry, King Henry, signed with the Baltimore Ravens? Because crab, ladies and gentlemen, he is now getting crab cake for life. Now I don't know who provides the crab down there, but that's the Maryland Blue Claw crab. That's the one we all like, Robin, and they're
Yes.
everywhere now in the world, including down here in Southwest Florida. As you know, I'm a big crab. Here I am out there, Robin. Look at the crab. Your boy Tony Bruno hauled in a little earlier. This was in the winter, late summer, early. Look at the size of them crab. Look at the crab. Is there sound on this?
There was, but I'm just playing it behind.
Because I like to do my southern accent, my Louisiana
So
accent.
now, how excited would you be if you got crab cakes for life?
Well, I have crab cakes for life because I catch them here.
That's true.
I don't need anybody now if they
But-
want to send me free crab.
But picking them is kind of a pain in the ass.
It is, but that's part of the process. You got to trust the process
Which
of crabbing.
you do very well.
And this was on our dock here in
Yes.
South. This wasn't in Maryland. I've had many videos with my son AJ. We got the trot line out. We're catching hundreds of crabs, bushel and bushel. But then we got these crabs, Robin, and they were running real good.
And let me find the crab where you're out. Whoops.
I'm out picking and a grinning.
Hold on.
I'm getting the crab meat. I'm a crumb creep crabber, no doubt about it. What up, painted fish?
I will remind people what Tony looks like, because I mean, when you're picking crab, it gets
it's not. Some people, it's tedious, man. It's just tedious, but I love it because it's relaxing. It's the what happens. After you do all the work and you got to bait the trap, you catch the crab, then you got to cook the crab, then you got to clean the crab. And I'm not one of those guys. You can't shake the crab. You can shake the crab. And I'm not one of those, you put the big newspaper out on the picnic table and all the mustard is still in the crab. And a lot of people, they have these crab bakes and they throw a bushel on and they're all red and they got all the Old Bay on it.
Now, what did he get besides?
I didn't see the full deal. He got a lot of money. So I don't know why they threw in crabs. It had to be a local crab cake company in Baltimore. But Derrick Henry, that's a nice bonus. I mean, when he's got that kind of money, you can buy your own crab factory. You know what I mean? But if I was getting a signing bonus of some type, I'd want crab. I want crab meat. Beautiful crab. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Where's this? I'm going to find the full story, though. Where's the crab story, Robin? I want the crab count. I want it set. And I want them now.
So Jimmy's Seafood.
Yes, Jimmy's Seafood, legendary place.
Legendary. They're the ones that have offered him crab cakes for life.
What does he have to do to get those crab cakes?
So Derrick Henry plans to take Jimmy's Seafood up on their free crab cakes for life. Let's see. The crabbing recruitment was free agent. Was free agent running back Derrick Henry. Social media sleuth spotted an early sign before news of the reported deal with the Ravens had broken. Jimmy's famous seafood put out an X tweet saying free crab pretzels, crab cakes, and crab cake egg rolls if you sign with the agent. With the Ravens.
That may have sealed the deal.
And
you know how expensive crab meat, lump crab meat right now is more expensive than crack. Well, crack's cheap because they put garbage in it and people die. Nobody's dying eating crab unless it's really tainted crab or tainted love. That shit'll kill you. You know what I mean, Robin? Jimmy's Seafood, great place. And they're smart marketers, too. They're down there in Baltimore. Jimmy's Seafood Tailgate. You know where that is, Robin? And we got them laid-back Maryland-style crab cake. Where the hell are they, Jimmy's famous seafood? They're all over the place.
The pictures do look delicious.
They got good stuff there, Robin. Real crab. None of that fake shit they put in sushi. You know what I mean? Jimmy's is going to be hosting WrestleMania Tailgate. Tailgate? That's right, April 6th and 7th in Philadelphia's Xfinity Live, Robin. It's only which takes place only 0.2 of a mile from Lincoln Financial Field, which will be the site of WrestleMania 40. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes aren't the only ones. Jimmy's famous seafood, Robin, going to be down there in South Philadelphia. The Tailgate Mania edition, April 6th and 7th. Famous Tailgate. You know what I'm saying? It's good stuff, man. I need some. I need some crab. I need some crab, and I need it now. All right, that's our crab segment for the day. Reminds me I got to go check out the crab trap a little later on. I need some bait. Bait. You know what I mean? All right, enough about that.
Yes.
Coming up, we're going to have the great Buster Olney on talking about it. Now, did you find the cherry pie song, Robin? Because I don't want to wait till the bottom of the hour.
Yes.
Because we already reported on an exclusive story on this Pie Day about cherry pie, which I did not know. Are you sure that's a real story, Robin?
Yes.
This is the Food and Drug Administration?
Food and Drug Administration would make people that were making cherry pies, manufacturers, if they wanted to freeze it, they had to go through extra hoops to be able to sell frozen cherry pie. All other types of fruit pies, you did not have to do that.
That's ridiculous.
And no longer. Now, cherry pies are
coming
free
back, baby.
to be sold just like all other ones.
Crank this up, Robin. Give me a
So we're going to go to break, and we'll come back. with
Why are we
Buster.
breaking at 10 after the hour?
Because we're going to go to commercial early so that we can come back with Buster.
Let me have a little. I need a taste.
Yeah.
This is old school. This is street.
Talk about chill.
Street corner. No, this isn't chill. This is street corner. Back in the old day, get a pack of cigarettes, roll them up in your
Real
sleeve.
quick, Joey B, breaking news, Tony. Sam Howell of the Commanders to Seattle.
Wow. Yeah, the Commanders are doing a lot of commanding. They're getting rid of people, bringing in people. What are the Dallas Cowboys doing today? Absolutely nothing. Give me some cherry. Come on. Cherry. Give me some, baby. Give me some. Yeah. This is called doo-wop, Robin. Has nothing to do with Italians either, because these are brothers. Give me some. I need some cherry pie right now, and I need some warm apple pie too, Robin. Yeah. You know, there's a cherry bomb weed strain too, Robin. Did you know that?
I'm sure that there's a lot of cherry.
It was meant to be. Tony Bruno on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
It feels like magic. Now I believe I can have it. Ooh, ooh, Tamu. Ooh, ooh, Tamu. All of my wishes came true. Shop like a billionaire. Shop like a billionaire. Ooh, ooh, Tamu. Ooh, ooh, Tamu.
Download the Temu app and shop like a billionaire.
Are you serious? It's spinning. There's a whole swarm of them.
There was an historic hearing today on Capitol Hill.
とにかくまず今日はタマカについて
I told you to take Broadway. This always happens.
When Barbara switched to TurboTax,
I broke 4 generations of family tradition with 5 little words. Ma, I want to make perfume. Getting my business off the ground was a full-time job.
so I made Barbara's new side gig count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and a maximum refund. Make your moves. We'll make them count. Intuit TurboTax. 100% accuracy guaranteed.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Now, what is this song, Robin?
This is Cherry Bomb by the Runaways.
Oh, that's the Runaways. That's right. I ran away when this song was popular, so I never heard it. A lot of Cherry talk today, Robin. A lot of baseball news. Yankee fans once again visibly shaken. So shaken that earlier today there was actual video of the Yankee broadcast booth when they found out about Gerrit Cole, or is it Gerrit Cole? Whatever his name is, he's the Yankees' ace, and now he's got an elbow situation, and it's not making many New York Yankee fans happy, especially, as I mentioned in the broadcast booth, Robin.
Goodness gracious!
Exactly. But Charlie Manuel, though, who's down here in Clearwater, or we're not in Clearwater, it's a little north of us, but he said today,
what it is what it is.
What it is what it is. Now, Luigi and Steve did not deem because they didn't step up to do the show because they weren't aware of it. You know, we didn't call off the jam until like an hour before the show because I was preparing for a show, and then all of a sudden I started getting this horrible headache and I didn't feel good, so I said, let me go lay down. And then I lay down, and then I realized what time it was. So then I wanted to make sure I told everybody that we weren't doing a show yesterday. But we're doing a show today, and we have a man live who's right here in our neighborhood. We may have to have him stop by for a couple of cocktails, and although he's probably working hard, and he's here in the Fort Myers area. They've done a bunch of games on ESPN, and now those games are over, but it's time to go around and tell us what's going on. The great Buster Olney from ESPN. Buster, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. Did you bring him up, punch him up, Robin? I don't hear him. Hello?
I think the whole sport is. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. Robin didn't punch it up, and I have to give her I'll criticize her after.
I was just saying, thanks for having me. Yeah, the whole sport's waiting for the news on Garrett Cole that they get from the Yankees, and I think a lot of people are nervous that this is going to turn out to be a catastrophic injury.
Yeah, because we heard about the discomfort, and then you wrote a column on it today on ESPN.com, and I'm hearing again it's preliminary, at least May, so he's obviously not going to start the season. They did an MRI, so when will they tell us how long it'll be? Or is it May, the number right now, or is there no idea yet on how long he would be out?
I think we're going to get more information either tonight or tomorrow morning. And they are, looking at a range of options, considering a range of possibilities when, they're thinking about how to respond to this injury. I reached out to someone in the know and asked about whether or not the Yankees have insurance on Garrett Cole. And the person said to me, that's a relevant question, because, of course, if he's out for the year, they potentially could get some financial relief. Most of the time when teams get insurance, they get about 75%, of salary coverage. But these are all, questions on the table for the Yankees. Who do you go to next? Do you try to sign one of the free agents, whether it's Blake Snell or Michael Lorenzen or Jordan Montgomery? Do you try to go make a trade even with Dylan Cease now off the market? Look, no matter how much time they lose him for, it's going to be devastating for them because he's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, you're right. And you look at, and they got a lot of arms, but they don't have Garrett Cole is that guy. He's what everybody wants to be their number one starter. And the Yankees coming off a disaster last year to have this happen in spring training before they even start. I mean, imagine how many people are going bananas today in New York City where they already go bananas all the time, as you know.
And living in fear of something like this. You're right. Last year they go 82-80. It's their worst season since 1992. They went in the offseason absolutely devoted to the idea of getting better, to adding another hitter behind Aaron Judge, and they had Juan Soto, to bolstering that rotation around Garrett Cole. And now to lose one of your core guys like this, it's crushing. And look, Aaron Boone's going into the last year of his contract. There's a lot on the line for him. Brian Cashman hasn't had back-to-back seasons of not making the playoffs. There's obviously a lot on the line for him. I don't think there's an injury that could have a bigger impact on a franchise potentially than Garrett Cole being lost for the season.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Dylan Cease. He was just traded, obviously, from the Chicago White Sox to the San Diego Padres, and they had to give up 3 of their young prospects, and they're obviously in a situation in San Diego where they got to do something too. But this kid was a runner-up. Not kidding me. He's 28. A Cy Young Award 2022. He had an off year last year, but his salary number is attractive, right? And that's how San Diego got this deal done, because they're not taking on big salaries because they don't want to, and they had to give up 3 players. So obviously they're not going to trade Dylan Cease now that they've got him at a pretty good number for a contract, right?
That's exactly right. And look, their general manager, A.J. Preller, is known as someone who can basically function with like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. He's up at 4 a.m. every day playing basketball games. His mind's working all the time. And so think about where the Padres were at the end of last season when their owner, Peter Seidler, passed away. This was a team that had one of the highest payrolls in baseball. They had to take their payroll down significantly. They had to trade Juan Soto. And AJ, I think, has done a great job rebuilding that team, that rotation, on the cheap. And I think you hit on the most important factor. The fact that Dylan Cease is only going to make $8 million this year makes it palatable for a small market team like the Padres. And AJ's excellent at building prospects, a prospect field. So even a couple of years after they traded for Juan Soto, they're still in a position to get the most desired starting pitcher in the trade market in Dylan Cease.
Now, there's a lot of the Red Sox, of course, who train right here in Fort Myers, as do the Minnesota Twins. I mean, their starting pitcher, who they just got, he's not going to be ready. And I know there's a lot of people, and my buddies who are Boston fans around here are like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. The Red Sox didn't do anything, and there was a lot of criticism of the Boston organization for pretty much just sitting on their hands. So what's the outlook for the Red Sox? Because they have some bats that aren't big names. Is this going to be a disastrous season, or you think Boston plays a little bit better because of all the prospects and not big-name guys who are still in the organization?
I think they're going to be better than what people expect, and that really was the theme of the conversations that Alex Cora had with his players in the winter. He made a determination that he wanted to have Zoom calls with all his players. Nobody in the front office allowed, nobody on the coaching staff allowed, just Alex with his players. And he basically recruited Trevor Story, their shortstop, to pull other players along. Tristan Cassis, their first baseman, I think is a rising superstar, did the same thing, bringing along young players, taking them to the weight room. This is how you get things done. And he's trying to foster them building a big old chip on their shoulder, like nobody believes in us. I will say that they can do all that. I don't think they're close to where the Baltimore Orioles are. I don't think they're close to where the Blue Jays are. And we'll see where the Yankees are. Alex Cora is going the last year of his contract. I don't think he's going to be back as the Red Sox manager in 2025. They got a lot on the line. And let's face it, the loss of Lucas Giolito, their big free agent pickup in the offseason, is going to be devastating because he was the guy who was going to come in and throw a lot of innings and be a plow horse for that staff, and he's just not going to be there this year.
Buster Olney driving in the car, really quiet. Where are you here in the Fort Myers area? I know you're going around the different camps, and Florida, you're doing the obviously the Grapefruit League, and I know Jeff Passon's out there in Arizona taking care of a bunch of ESPN writers everywhere. But I know you're not out in Arizona, but the big story out there is the Milwaukee Brewer closer, Devin Williams, who's now going to be out 3 months, 2 stress fractures in his back. That's unbelievable.
It's absolutely devastating. And yeah, I'm here in Florida. I've seen all the teams in this area. Was in the Twins camp and the Red Sox camp, went to see the Braves, went to see the Orioles, venturing up I-75. I think, every winter when we talk about winners and losers, the Dodgers are the clear winners of the winter. Getting Shohei Ohtani, getting Yoshi Yamamoto, other upgrades, Teoscar Hernandez. And, while the Oakland Athletics, I think, are going to win worst winter because they never do anything, the number 2 loser of the winter would be the Milwaukee Brewers. Craig Counsell, their manager, walks away. They trade Corbin Burns, their ace. Brandon Woodruff suffers a shoulder injury. He's not available to them this year. And now Devin Williams, who probably was going to be, then this year ranked as the second best reliever in baseball, he's going to be out till the middle of the year. He may not even be back in time to rebuild his trade value, which was the expectation for what Milwaukee was going to do with him in July. So all the way around, just a devastating situation for the Brewers.
Buster, I was up in Clearwater Saturday watching the Indians and the Phillies. And the Indians, I you know it better than I do, but you look at that lineup, and they have one of the best leadoff men in baseball. You talk about one of the great players. But look at the lineup. Is there a team that's ever had as many sons of great players in their lineup than the Toronto Blue Jays? It's unbelievable, the guys they run out there.
Yeah, for sure. And look, Kenley Jansen, their closer, we just had ESPN posted a top 100 player list. And I went around to a lot of different players and basically said to them, look, tear us apart. Tell us where we got it wrong. And Kenley Jansen talked about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He said, no, you got him too low. We have him at 35. He thinks he should be in the top 20. I think Bo Bichette is learning to balance aggressiveness and a little bit more patience at the plate. He's been improving year to year. And for me, a really cool story is the return of Joey Votto, who's playing in minor league games now. And hopefully sometime over the weekend, he's going to make his first appearance in a major league game for the Blue Jays. That would be a great story. I've talked to Joey this spring. He's really confident that he's healthy and he's going to be able to help that team. That like if he were to return to Toronto, be put on the major league roster, he'd get a huge ovation.
Absolutely. And I looked at that team and I saw, I mean, they tore the Phillies apart. And obviously the Phillies weren't starting there, but they pretty much played their starting lineups on Saturday, both teams. And I'm watching that Toronto team, even when they brought in their substitutes, in the eighth inning when they scored a ton of runs and they won 13-5. That was an impressive squad there. Do you have them as deep contenders in the American League? Maybe a championship team?
I have them going back to playoffs. I think the Orioles are the team that's scaring everybody.
Well,
right
yeah, of
now.
course, yeah.
Right. Yeah, Gunnar Henderson. I think he might wind up spring training being like 900. He looks like he's a monster. Jackson Holiday. Matt's son. Talking to sons of players. When I've been doing this front office poll this spring, executives are telling me that he's the best player under 23 years old, and that's saying something. And then you have Adley Rutschman. The Blue Jays, they had such a disappointing season last year, and you get the sense at the beginning of camp that they're speaking of chip on their shoulders. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looks like he lost 25 to 30 pounds. Other guys were reporting in shape. Even though they didn't make a lot of moves in the wintertime, they really believe that the guys they have in their lineup are going to improve significantly over what they did last year.
Yeah, we saw Guerrero make a play at first base, which his dad never would have made. I mean, he ran down the line in a spring training game and made a diving catch right against the fence. I mean, even the Phillies fans there were like, wow, what a play. I mean, spectacular. He's a spectacular player, and obviously he can hit cover off the ball.
Yeah, and he's got a lot riding on this year. He's a free agent at the end of the 2025 season. This is sort of the tipping point, the crossroad in his time with the Blue Jays. I think both for he and for Bo Bichette, if the team's going to make an investment in either one of those guys, that deal's going to happen this offseason. So the money's there on the table right in front of them.
Now, I talked about the Phillies. I don't know if you've been up to Clearwater yet. And, they're finally starting to ease some guys in. Their big-bearded, big-haired outfielder actually played his first game yesterday. So we're seeing the Phillies pretty healthy going in. But as you know, they've gotten off to slow starts the last couple of years. How important do you think it is, or does it really matter how you get out of the gate in a long season?
I think it's important for them because they know in their hearts, and I'm sure it was a really difficult winter for those players, that in the middle of October last year, they were the best team that was in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They clearly were the best of the Astros and the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. You thought they were going to blow through and win a World Series, and Bryce Harper was going to be in the middle of a dog pile, but their bullpen blew it. Their hitters expanded the strike zone, and they were upset. And I do think that that's driving them this spring. There's from what I hear from talking with players there is a great focus among those players. Like, we could not finish the deal last year. I think the National League essentially has three super teams. You've got the Dodgers, you've got the Atlanta Braves, who probably are the favorites to win the division. But the Phillies are incredibly dangerous because they have all that experience, and they got Aaron Nola, and they have Zach Wheeler, and they have Ranger Suarez in that rotation. And that Dave Dombrowski, their general manager, if something needs to be added at the trade deadline, and it's likely to be a closer, he'll go out and get it done. So I view them as being as dangerous in October, potentially, as either the Braves or the Dodgers.
Well, Chris Sale now is an Atlanta Brave, and he was wondering whether it was going to happen to him after Boston. He went up there, won a World Series, and things sort of fell apart. And now with the Atlanta Braves adding Chris Sale, obviously it's a good move for the Braves because he's a great arm, but this is sort of a prove yourself again year for Chris Sale, is it not?
It is because of how Boston played out. And the great thing about Chris Sale is you're talking about someone who's incredibly accountable. He's talked to any reporter approaches him, and he basically has said, look, I have not given the return on investment for what the Red Sox gave me, that long-term contract. And he has, great unhappiness about that. And he's joining the Braves, I think, very motivated, and it's clear from what he's done this spring. He's got a lot of fastball velocity back. He's got a sharp breaking on his breaking ball. The Braves acquired him believing that for the first time in about 5 years, he's actually healthy. And because they gave him a contract extension in addition to trading Vaughn Grissom for him. You'll look back, I think, at that trade at the end of the year, it'll be one of the best ones that we've seen this year.
And surprise, you mentioned a couple of names because we always see the names. And by the way, you know this. Are you going to Seoul, Korea for the Dodgers and Padres series, which opens the actual season next Wednesday on the 20th, and then the rest of the baseball world cranks it up on Good Friday the 29th? How many? You going to have people out there? You're not going out, are you?
I really wanted to go, but Eduardo Perez and Carl Ravitch are going there for us. And I'll be up at 6 a.m. watching those games. And actually, I'll be in Montana at the times the games are being played. So I guess I'm getting up at 4. That'll be a lot of fun to see those games. Because to see the first plate appearances for Ohtani in a Dodger uniform, to see top of their lineup, Mookie Betts, Ohtani, Freddie Freeman going 1, 2, 3. That'll be impressive.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, I can't believe we were just talking pitchers and catchers, and now we're a week away from real games starting, 2 weeks away from everybody starting on the Good Friday of the 29th. Buster, it's always great talking baseball. Whether you really appreciate the time. I saw you guys last year at the Red Sox game, and you and Ravi in the booth there, and I was sitting there and just enjoying the beautiful weather here in Southwest Florida during spring training, like most of the world when they come down here, or they go to Arizona. But is there a better place to be in February and March than Florida?
No. As long, especially, look, a lot of people prefer Arizona, but I think as I've had so many spring trainings here in Florida, when I covered the Yankees and just bouncing around, across Alligator Alley, I just love coming here. I'd much rather be here than in Arizona.
Yeah, and listen, we love Arizona. It's beautiful, and it's a dry heat out there, but it's chilly in the morning in February. We had a couple cold snaps here, but right now, I mean, it is as nice as it can get. 81 degrees. We had a couple of humid days, but then it cooled off again. That's why I moved here. I moved here so I can be near you for spring training. I remember Vero Beach when the Dodgers were here, and then they moved out west. But, to me, Florida's always been a special spring training place because everything is so close. Same thing in Arizona. Everything's in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. But I love spring training baseball because it's this, the freshly cut grass. And, it just feels right. It just feels the way a season should start. Because and then they go back, and Minnesota will go back and play in, snow because it's snowing in Denver today. That's the only thing I'm sure the players hate if you're playing at a cold market team and you still have an outdoor stadium.
Yeah, and there's no water out there, Yes. I mean, let's face it, that's the great separator.
Exactly. Well, the drinking water here stinks, as you know, so that's why you have to get filtered water when you come down to Florida. Never get a glass of water in Southwest Florida. Go to a restaurant, they give you water, and you take a sip of it, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Because they want you to, I always use bottled water. So use bottled water. Don't drink the tap water down here. It's worse than Mexico, which you always hear. Don't drink the water in Mexico. Don't drink the water in Southwest Florida unless you know it's filtered. There's your tip for the day. Buster.
Yeah, pro tip from Tony. Thank you.
Buster, always great to talk to you. Thank you for your time, buddy. Take care.
Likewise.
There he is, the great Buster Olney. Talking baseball, man. We're talking baseball, Robin. Baseball.
Awesome.
I should have played the theme, too.
Tony, we have breaking news.
Wait, I should have played the Mon-Thu. Yes.
There is another Boeing 777 that has been grounded because of losing a wheel or another wheel.
What the hell is going on out there?
What the hell is going
Seriously.
on is right.
Is it another United plane?
It's American this time.
Dude.
Made an emergency landing at LAX after a mechanical problem. And I mean, this is really getting out of hand. And keep in mind, the Boeing mechanic who was a whistleblower, he was scheduled to
testify before
Congress.
And he killed himself.
Oh, conveniently 3 days before in his hotel room. There's something seriously, seriously wrong.
Yeah. And again, everybody, we love to fly, and it shows. But, flying was the safest way to travel.
Yeah.
No, it's like SEPTA, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. They can't go a day without a crime or something going wrong on the system. And now you've got major airlines, and it's all happening with Boeing planes. You don't see any Airbuses having these issues, right? And they're both great companies. Boeing's a legendary company. The French Airbuses, They make great planes too, but there's something going wrong.
There's something
with
seriously
Boeing. Now,
wrong.
is it the people who do the maintenance on the Boeing planes, or is it Boeing itself when they manufacture these planes? That's the big question.
Is it a combination of
It's
both?
got to be a combination of both. You can't blame the pilots. They just get in there. They don't know a wheel's going to fall off. When they put the landing gear down,
No, they rely.
they expect the landing gear to
Yeah.
come down and not a tire to fall, or when they take off and a wheel falls off.
They
It's insane.
rely on mechanics and the safety checks. I mean, they do safety checks to make sure that there's nothing visually that has happened since they
Correct.
landed. And they every single time, I mean, you'll see the captain go down, the pilot go down.
Captain?
and
Roger,
he will
Roger.
he will wander around. He'll look around the
Yeah, they do it.
wheels.
Every single one. The flight crew, the captain,
yep.
and the co-pilot. They do a manual inspection.
Yes.
Of all the ailerators
they
and the
check-
elevators and the
What they check for is they check to make sure that there's nothing in obstructing the engines, that it's going to get sucked
Correct.
up in there. They check to make sure that the tires don't have a flat.
Mhm.
They check to make sure that there's no debris anywhere, and they check to make sure that all of the fuel and everything, all those the compartments have been closed.
Exactly
That's
right.
what they do. But other than that, they can't check to make sure that something is mechanically sound. That's up to the safety checks.
Well, most of the
when they go in.
problems have been with the wheels and the landing gear.
Yeah.
And on the big 777s, the ones that we've seen, the United planes,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a whole bunch of tires. It's not like they have the one in the front, when
Right.
the last one that touches down. But on these bigger jets, the 777 and the super ones, there's like 20 tires on there.
Yeah.
And so when one falls off, that thing is heavy, and that's the one in San Francisco that crashed into the parking lot next to SFO. You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty crazy. They need to and who's our transportation secretary that's supposed to be making sure that we're safe?
You think he knows anything about airplanes or landing gear or landing strips? Maybe landing strips, but I don't know about landing gear.
I don't know.
Maybe not even landing strips. Anyway, something to keep in. Now, we're going to be flying again in another week or so.
Yes.
Are you afraid to fly now?
No, I'm not afraid to fly. I mean, I've been in some hairy situations up in the sky where it was scary, but I have flown a lot, and I've certainly been much more scared in a car from almost accidents than anything up in the sky. But
It's still safer than SEPTA, though.
yes.
I hate to say that as a Philadelphia native. Anyway, we're going to take another break, Robin?
No.
We're going to
break.
keep it going?
We're going to keep it
Oh,
going.
beautiful.
Lines are open until the top of the hour when we are going to do something a little bit different, Tony Bruno.
What are we going to do?
Every day in the 5 o'clock hour, so
Mm-hmm.
the third hour, we are going to do our no filter hour where we are going to start simulcasting just for 1 hour on No Filter, which is then going to be played on Caffeine TV.
Beautiful. So in the meantime, all the other video outlets,
We'll
Rumble,
just stay.
will stay on.
Yeah, they'll stay on.
They'll all stay on. The stations along the line will stay on. Let me get you up to date, though, on all the college basketball. And I got to find my college basketball music, Robin, because I've really not been doing a good job. I got to do a better job of doing this stuff because that's what people want. That's what Pete Sheppard does great in the morning. He gets the music behind him. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds better. It's professional grade. You know what I'm saying? I think I already asked you that twice. Let's go to... Let's go to the NCAA men's basketball afternoon action. And who doesn't love afternoon action, really? Your number one seed, number one team of the nation, your Houston Cougars. Hello. You know, even though TCU is a good team, they're 21-11, 9-9 in the Big 12, but Houston is unstoppable at this particular time. Houston laying a beat down early. They outscored TCU 31-15 in the first half, and they are up now in the second half, second quarter, I should say. 36-15, Houston leads. Arizona, in the big finale of the Pac-12 conference, they're playing out there in Las Vegas as well. You know, you have two tournaments going on in Las Vegas at the same time, and there's only one thing better than two tournaments going on in Las Vegas, and we'll discuss that later. Arizona leading USC 44-26 in an official timeout right now, as opposed to an unofficial timeout. That's the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, out there in the Mountain West, Utah State. What is a Ute? Utah State is leading 57-50 Fresno State. They're in the second quarter. Meanwhile, in the SEC, South Carolina, number 15 state, they're smacking around Arkansas, 46-35. And then coming up later on, we'll go back to the Phillips 66 Big 12 quarterfinal, Iowa State against Kansas State. That's 7 o'clock. That's in Kansas City at the T-Mobile Center. Meanwhile, back to the Big East later on tonight, 7 o'clock in the Big East quarterfinal. Pete Sheppard's Providence Friars taking on Creighton, the number 8 seed. Providence, solid year, 20-12. Creighton, 23-8. And Creighton's 8.5-point favorites tonight in that game. Big game for Providence. Obviously, Creighton, on paper, the better team. Meanwhile, in the ACC quarterfinal, Duke and North Carolina State, the Wolfpack, out there at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Duke's 11.5-point favorites over NC State. That one starts at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Meanwhile, in the A-10 championship quarterfinal, your Dayton Flyers and your Duquesne Dukes duke it out. Dayton 6.5-point favorites. Meanwhile, in the Pac-12, as they wind it down, they're at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Washington State and Stanford. Washington State, 7.5-point favorites over the Cardinal. And why is it Cardinal and not Cardinals, Robin, as a graduate of Stanford Elementary School and kindergarten? Why is it the Stanford Cardinal when obviously
it should be Cardinal, like multiples?
I think it's the Cardinal because it's the color, is it not? I never quite understood that. Shouldn't it be Cardinals?
You would think, actually.
Now, you're the Stanford person, and I've been on the Stanford campus, and I love Stanford.
Well, yeah, but
I love the tree, actually.
Yeah, not everything that they do makes sense because they're the Cardinals, and then their mascot is a tree. So
I know they're pretty messed up. I think it's drugs and probably some alcohol mixed in.
They're kind of mixed up.
Well, you
but
know,
yeah, AJ Lopez says it's because it's Cardinal red.
That's what I said. Because the Cardinals.
Oh, what the Fauci says, the cardinal is a type of tree.
No, it's not.
That's what he's saying. Let me see.
I don't know if it's a type of tree. I know why it's not cardinals, because it's either cardinal red. Pete Sheppard Show music equals Headbangers Ball on MTV 1987. Love it. I do too. Nobody cranks out more of the heavy metal stuff than Pete Sheppard in the morning. I wake up thinking I'm in a strip club. And then I immediately get up and get some singles out and start throwing them around the room and making it rain on Robin. And then I realize she's still asleep. And I say, screw it. Give me my damn money back, and I'm going to go in and make some coffee. Anyway, we got that going on. We got the golf going on. I said the story earlier with Harry and the great Jason Murtitas on the Odd G's podcast. Do you see who's going to be doing the opening ceremonies at the Summer Olympics in Paris in a couple of months, Robin?
No, who's
a man who pretty much has every job in broadcasting now. Peyton Manning will be hosting the opening ceremonies at the Summer Olympics on NBC. Mike Tirico obviously is doing pretty much the whole thing. Kelly Clarkson's going to be there too. So obviously there's a lot of entertainment. I mean, the opening ceremonies is a celebration. So it's not like a big sports story. And Peyton Manning is really good at that stuff. I make it rain with the vitamin too. No, you're only supposed to have one a week. Yeah, the Stanford Cardinal mascot is the Stanford Tree Cardinal. The Stanford Tree mascot is named Cardinal, but it's an evergreen tree. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Robin, Tony, if you threw a bunch of singles at Robin at a strip club, do you get change back? LOL. Now, is that a cheap shot at you or me?
Both? I don't know.
She'll say, singles? Give me some 20s in there. Throw me some.
What the Fauci is going all
We're taking it next level. I bet you people in Stanford, in Palo Alto, don't even know the answer to this question.
So he says the Sorbus acuparia is the cardinal royal, commonly known as the cardinal royal mountain ash tree.
Wow.
Look at that.
Are you shitting me right now?
I totally believe him because
I do too. Nobody makes that up.
No, you can't
Not
make
the
that up.
succubus aureus. No, sorbus aucuparia. I had some of that the other night at the Italian restaurant. You put a little garlic in there, a lot of extra cheese, and then bam! Yes, AJ Lopez confirms that was indeed a rip on Robin.
Well, gee, thanks, AJ. Love you too. What the Fauci says, I'm a trivia geek. I can't help it.
Listen, we love trivia geeks.
We need trivia geeks listening so that
I
they
like
can,
freaks and geeks. So, I can roll with everybody. I mean, everybody is welcome on the show. We don't care your race, your color, your religion, your ethnicity. We don't care. Everybody's the same on the show.
Your creed. What is a creed, by the way?
I think it's a religious sect. And it's a bad group that plays awful music that some people like. Are you a Creed fan, Robin?
I mean, I like some. You know what? I like a little bit of everything, but I might not know I do until I hear it. Clearly, I do not remember group names, the names of
Never
songs.
a Creed. I've never been a fan. Again, it's personal. You could do whatever you like. You know what I mean? Yeah, according to the web, it is a tree.
Creed.
Not Apollo Creed. He's no longer with us, as you know.
Race, creed. Okay, what race?
Creed is religion.
Color.
It's something to do with religion, right?
Is it? Hey, what the Fauci? You are a trivia geek. What is
Two
Creed?
geeks at the same time, man. And confirming the story from earlier today.
Oh, here we go. Race, color, or creed. In this use, color refers to the color of a person's skin, obviously, and creed is a system of religious belief or faith, which is what you said.
Exactly. Race, color, or creed. Not the group creed.
No.
We can all agree they suck. Well, not all of us. Most of us can agree. And what's the other group that sucks that everybody rips all the time?
All the time.
I think it's Creed, right?
No, it's not Creed. It's the other one.
Yeah, the other one.
Nickelback.
Nickelback. Now, a lot of people like Nickelback.
Yes, they do.
But I think if we did an impartial poll and then broke it down scientifically
Creed
like the show.
versus Nickelback?
Who sucks more, Nickelback or Creed? You know what I'm saying?
Good question, good question.
So let me get back to this NFL
Yes.
trade that was broken exclusively by our listeners and viewers here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. This is a story, and is there any other team? There's been a ton of free agent signings and a rash of trades too. And I had a rash the other day, but luckily I had the ointment for it. We have another Washington Commander trade. And boy, do they give up on people in a hurry, Robin. Sam Howell, no relation to Thurston Howell III, they have traded.
Already?
The Commanders have traded Sam Howell to your Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks received Sam Howell, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. The Commanders receive a 3rd and 5th-round pick, according to Tom Pelissero at the NFL Network. How about that? Wow, he was a starter last year. And the other interesting thing that was announced today is that they had, the guy who got the biggest contract from quarterbacks, and he's now with the Atlanta Falcons, of course, the great Kirk Cousins. Somebody broke it down. He's made $411 million in salary now with the new contract in Atlanta. $411 million and 1 playoff win. Now, that's a hell of a deal. Anybody who can get that kind of cash. Yeah, Geno Smith seeing the Seahawks traded for Sam Howell. And everybody puts the memes in there. Wow. How about that? He's going to thrive in Seattle because he got sacked 10 million times with your Washington Deadskins last year. And he played his ass off. And anybody who rips Sam Howell doesn't realize what he had to go through. Washington gave up. They traded all their defensive players, and they were an absolute dumpster fire. Dumpster fire. Yeah, and the story about Brandon Ayuk has not been confirmed, even though it's being attributed to 1010XL, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars station in Jacksonville, Florida, up there in Duval. Here's a good one from the Redbird. If Nickelback and Creed go on tour, Mark David Chapman has to be released from jail. Now, come on, man. That's just really, really wrong. in so many ways. In fact, if you tweeted that, you would be suspended from Twitter because that would be considered violent speech, right? An implication of violent speech, which is an absolute joke. Absolute joke. So Sam Howell's traded today. And Sam Howell, 3.5 months younger than Michael Penix, 7 months younger than Bo Nix, born the same month as Spencer Rattler, 2.5 months older than Jaden Daniels, has 26 touchdowns despite playing behind the worst line in football as a 22-year-old first-year starter. Now, that's a kind of breakdown you're not getting on any other show, Robin. So it's a Sam Howell has game. And Pete Carroll wants an interview praising his toughness and talent. So Howell's going to have a long-term value behind a shaky starter like Geno Smith, who, as much as the staff may not love him as much as Pete Carroll did, but a third and a fifth round for a fourth is not nothing. So that's your latest trade. And by the way, I mentioned Kirk Cousins, and somebody put this, and I got to try to find it now because it was on the Twitter feed earlier today, about how much Kirk Cousins has said he wanted to retire for each team that he played for. Remember when he was in Washington? And he said, I want to retire as a Redskin, because they were the Redskins back then. Then he gets traded. Then he goes to Minnesota, and he told all the people up there in Minnesota, and listen, I like Kirk Cousins. He's a good guy and all that stuff. God bless him. He got $400 million to win one playoff game. Imagine if he were in Philly or in Dallas. Well, actually, their quarterback's making a lot of money, and he's only won 1 or 2 playoff games. But Dallas is a bigger story. There's much more, pressure on that organization to try to do that, to try to win. But anyway, now he says he wants to retire as an Atlanta Falcon, Robin. So that's why I talk about it's a business, and people are always talking about, wherever somebody pays them the most money and they go and play, it's always like, this is where I wanted to be. My wife's from Atlanta, and I want to retire here. And so that's the bottom line. Any player who gets paid gazillions of dollars to play and move to a new city, by the way, where his wife grew up. And so I'm not saying that that wasn't a factor. Minnesota didn't want to give him another long-term deal. He was there, 6 years, won 1 playoff game. And so, but stop with the this is where I want to retire nonsense. This is, the only person who's not lying about this is where I want to retire is who,
you.
Robin?
You.
You're damn right. I can assure you right now, and you have my personal guarantee, mark it, because it is now Pi Day.
Yes.
So it's a day that you can't easily forget. On 4/13/2024, I, Tony Bruno, solemnly swear that I will retire in Florida, and when I die, I will be carried out of on a gurney outside of the Paradiso Bruno. If I'm long enough, I live long enough to watch it be completed, and spend at least a couple of years in there before I leave God's great green earth. And say that fast 5 times. I will be carried out. And my wishes, as I've told Robin, I want a funeral pyre, and I want to have a Viking funeral right there in Lake Naco. Or is it Naco Lake?
I think it's Naco Lake.
Why couldn't it be Lake Naco?
I'm not sure why.
They call it Naco Lake. Isn't Lake before it? It's like Lake Superior.
Well,
Lake Ontario.
In your case, it'll be Naked Lake.
I do want a Viking funeral. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Isn't that a pyre when the Vikings put the body on a Viking ship? It doesn't even. It could be a miniature ship.
It can be a dinghy.
No, not a dinghy. My whole body's got to fit on there.
Well,
and then there's got to be. I don't want a John boat, like a 12-foot John aluminum boat.
Well, that wouldn't burn.
No, the boat doesn't have to burn.
So like a canoe. You could do a canoe.
No, I don't want a canoe. I want to be comfortable. I want to be laid comfortably.
Okay.
I want there to be a lot of padding. I like a lot of trees.
And then
there will be food at this Viking funeral. There'll be fish of all kinds, mostly herring.
7 fishes?
No, that's unless I die on Christmas Eve. Then they'll have the 7 fish. But I can't make that decision because I'm not the one who's going to be doing my own funeral, Robin.
Well, you can plan it ahead of time.
No, I'm not describing my wedding day.
D. Conrad.
Can I bring a date to this Viking funeral? Canoe? Tony on a burning raft into the Everglades. That would be epic.
Yes.
Will it be food at this Viking funeral? No, we're not going to have the Viking funeral on the Schuylkill River because all those skulls will be going by.
When we come back...
Are you playing a little Creed here, Robin?
Yes, I am. When we come back, we are going into our final hour, which is going to be the No Filter Hour from now on.
Everybody please
Brought
stand
to you
by.
by No Filter, and we will be live on No Filter as well.
Exactly right. So stick around, 5 o'clock hour. Can't wait for the picture, says Don Conrad in Las Vegas. Just sink a dinghy out on Lake Okeechobee. Or how about right here, the beautiful, what's the river right here?
Now that Okeechobee's in my head, I can't think of it.
Is there an open bar and apps at the Viking funeral?
It's the, oh, for freaking sakes. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Jesus, Robin, how can you not remember a lake that we drive by every day?
No, not a lake, it's a river.
A river.
River.
That's the Caloosahatchee River, Robin.
Thank
and
you.
I didn't have to look it up.
Yeah, as soon as you said river.
Thank you.
Okay.
God,
I promise I will never play Creed
Can
again.
you take me higher? Higher, please. Yeah. Is this grunge?
No.
It's not. What would you call this?
I think it's like Christian rock, right?
Is this Christian rock?
I think so.
Are these Christian nationalists and MAGA Republican extremists?
You're asking me questions with answers that I don't know.
Is her name Creed because it's religious?
I believe so.
All right. Whatever you like. Just don't like it.
It was meant to be. Tony Bruno on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
It's basically tennis for babies, but for adults.
It should be called wiffle tennis.
Pickle!
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we pop up on them like a These guys are intense.
We got nothing to worry about. With E-Trade from Morgan Stanley, we're ready for whatever gets served up.
Dude, you gotta work on your trash talk. I'd rather work on saving for retirement.
Or college, since you like to get schooled. That's a pretty good burn, right?
Got him. Game.
Thanks for coming to our clinic. First one's free.
Leftover chicken, scallions, cheese. What am I gonna make with this? Mayo.
Hellman's. Holy, you can talk. And then she says, meow, and boom, Hellman saves the leftovers. Oh my gosh, this cat is talking. She can't spell.
And now, our keynote speaker.
All right, now look at the jar. Look at the jar. Now look at me. Give me a little. Now, mommy, look up and look away. That's your tummy. Show tummy. This cat is everywhere.
世界的な現象、メオカット。
Meocat arrives at Global Summit.
You lasted longer than most. Want to go pound some milk and rip up my couch? Good talk.
This story is mad good.
Thanks, boo.
Ice Spice?
Wait, who's that?
It's my ex lemon lime soda.
You're looking well.
I just needed something more refreshing, more crisp. I'm with Starry now.
This is intense. He's so vulnerable.
But I love you. Please.
Aw, buddy, it'll be okay. Or not.
Huh, Starry does taste better.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Athletic Groin Protector Inventor.
Mr. Athletic Groin Protector Inventor.
People love to play sports, but they don't love it when they get hit in the twig and berries. For years, cringing fans watched as man after man went down. But then you came along and said, here, stick this in your pants.
Nice to meet you.
The errant headbutt, the inside fastball, the wayward high five, all no match for your crash helmet.
I'll bring it on.
Sure, some athletes shun them, but don't worry, they'll come around.
Show us the way.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light protector of the package and know that we're just nuts about you.
We're just nuts.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Music, please.
Beautiful. I hear you, baby.
The most tremendous new musical experience.
I hear you, baby.
Are we on the air?
Are you ready? Are we rolling? Can you hear me now?
Yep, ready?
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
You know me. I've been around forever.
I know him. I know him.
This is the Tony Bruno Show. Here he is, the godfather of sports radio. Here's Tony Bruno.
Hello there. Welcome, kids. Of course, here on No Filter Network, where we've been for 3 years, and, of course, all over the world. We thank you for listening and watching. We got a lot of stuff this hour, too. Lots of breaking sports news. Our buddy Chase Sr. Remember Chase Sr., Robin? The kid who was an intern,
yes.
went to Temple University, and now
We
is
had
doing,
him on the show in the Super Bowl.
he's doing all of these chat sports things. And there was a report that we had earlier about the Jacksonville Jaguars having interest in trading for Brandon Ayuk, and the interest is mutual now, according to Chase Sr. of Chat Sports. There's mutual interest between Jacksonville and Ayuk's camp. He's asking for a price might be around $25 million a year, and given the fact that Calvin Ridley just got $23 million a year, and Deebo Samuel, who Ayuk is better than, making $24 million average a year, will the 49ers will be willing to pay Ayuk that kind of money? That's the big question right now. So these rumors were floating around earlier, and of course the station that's the Jacksonville Jaguars flagship, 1010XL in Jacksonville, was also reportedly talking about this earlier today. So I don't know if Ayuk is more valuable than Deebo. Teams need to pay the player what he's worth. And so we'll see what's happening right now. But that's one of the stories that's going around, not confirmed. But the one story that is confirmed, and poor Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder, remember? He was the guy that was the starting quarterback for your Atlanta Falcons last year. And then, of course, they make the decision to sign. Desmond Ridder was quoted as saying when he signed and was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, "I am not leaving Atlanta until I win a Super Bowl." Well, unfortunately for him, that will not happen because they got Kirk Cousins to be the starting quarterback. And we've seen players move around. The Cowboy fans are still upset. But Ayuk is, I think we can all agree, not better than Deebo Samuels. And I'm sure 49er fans won't even agree with that one or will agree with that one. So anyway, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, trade rumors flying around. We know that the guy, Sam Howell, who was the starting quarterback in Washington with the Commanders last year, has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks for a couple of draft picks. And so the poor guy who took a beating in Washington last year, the most sacked quarterback in the league, now gets a chance, to play up in Seattle, where they have another quarterback who's bounced around, and with Geno Smith as the starter. So we'll see whether Sam Howell, at least Sam Howell will probably, hopefully have more people to work with, better talent around him than he did in Washington. But the Commanders, you got to give him this. They have been very, very active in this free agent window, and now the new NFL year has started. So we'll keep an eye on it. And, this is interesting. The 2022 quarterback class, Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, replaced. You would think if they bring in another quarterback who they're getting for a little bit of money because they don't have to pay him because the Denver Broncos are still paying a lot of money. So Pickett's been replaced. Howell traded. Ritter traded. Willis replaced. Zappi, a backup. Corral, UFL. Purdy, the last pick, is the only solid starter still with the same team that drafted him with the very last pick as Mr. Irrelevant in that 2022 quarterback class. So that's how crazy, college NFL picks are. Desmond Ritter gets traded. Sam Howell gets traded. Matt Corral is not on a team anymore. Malik Willis is not going to be a starter anytime soon, and neither will Skylar Thompson and Bailey Zappi. Yes, 49er fans, the best quarterback of the 2022 draft was the last guy taken, the greatness that is Brock Purdy. How about that? So that's the very latest as moves continue to be made. Meanwhile, in Dallas, they're still visibly shaken. And then you had Dak Prescott's brother saying that the Philadelphia Eagles are a better organization than the Dallas Cowboys because the Eagles are still making a lot of moves to try to get back as a Super Bowl contender. And you got to give the Eagles that. Whether you hate the Eagles or not, their front office is active. They're not just going to sit there and say, "Oh, we're good enough." They went out and got they got the running back from the Giants that people didn't think was going to go there. And so money talks, ladies and gentlemen. You can quote me. I know no one's ever used that line before, Robin. Money talks. What is the line? Money talks and bullshit walks?
Something like that. But
money talks and what walks?
Here's something. I wish money would talk to me a little bit more often.
I need money to scream at me. Yes, and Russell Wilson's home on the market in Denver where they had a ton of snow.
17 bathrooms, $25 million.
When I see these homes and these mansions, why do you need more bathrooms than bedrooms? I mean, if you got how many bedrooms are in that house?
I don't know how many bedrooms are.
I've seen houses like six bedrooms and 12 bath.
I know. It does.
Why do you need 12 bathrooms if you have 6? Now, obviously, you have bathrooms all over the place. Like, we're going to have more bathrooms in our Bruno.
Well, it's going to be 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms because there's a guest bathroom and there's a pool
and then there's a pool bath. Right. I don't need 12 bathrooms for 4 bedrooms. It just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Matt Raposa has to go, so
out there in the Bay Area, the headquarters of No Filter Network. So he's going to work right now. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the big extravaganza. Yes. How many new we already went down the bathrooms in the new Bruno in Cape Coral. How many baths, Robin? We get the blueprints out and run them down.
4 bedrooms, 5 baths.
How many bedrooms? That's it. 4 is the number it's Pi Day as we do this show. And by the way, there's a new update on Pi. Do you know the number changes every year on Pi Day?
What do you mean the number changes?
I have to find the story.
Pi is a
mathematical equation, though, right?
No, it's a number. It's the same number, 3.14.
I get
and then
that.
There's a whole bunch of. It keeps going on. 1, 4, 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, blah, blah. I mean,
but people much brighter than this reporter have broken it down today. And I don't think this is a fake website because, let's be honest, Pi Day is important. We now know that cherry pie is now allowed to be sold again, frozen in supermarkets, which I didn't know was going on. We now know that vitamin D is better for you, and that's why I take vitamin D. So this isn't just a sports show, which gives you all the information that you need. This is a sports and science-based show, Robin. Am I right? And sports, there's a lot of sports science that goes into sports. So keep that up. And, of course, the big story in the NHL is the bobblehead night for Jaromir Jagr, the longtime Pittsburgh Penguin great. I mean, he played for a bunch of teams, still playing in Finland, I believe, or in the Czech Republic, I should say. So they had a bobblehead night planned. He's going to be there. They're going to retire his number. But the bobbleheads that were supposed to be given out on the bobblehead night have disappeared, apparently hijacked out in California. And if we have sources in California that can confirm, actually, the Pittsburgh Penguins organization has confirmed that somehow when they arrived on the ship, presumably from China, where they pretty much make everything, the bobbleheads somehow were hijacked or stolen.
They were stolen.
Is that the same thing?
Yes. Well, hijacked.
Do you think the people who stole these bobbleheads knew there were, does it say bobble? Because, when you get a
No.
package and it says made in China on the
I
side.
can guarantee you they thought that they were getting in a great haul of something fantastic with all these boxes, only to discover that it was like 3 million bobbleheads of the same person.
No, there's not 3 million. It's
Well,
only,
no,
they're giving
like
away
however
like
many.
10,000. And they're going to give you a brain check if you're going to that Penguins game. And the rain check will then give you a voucher. And who doesn't like a voucher, Robin? When you hear, I'm getting a voucher, you're excited, right? You're like, ooh, a voucher.
No.
You don't like vouchers?
No, because that means that you have to come back to go pick it up.
Yeah,
That's
but
a
what if
pain
it's
in the
something
ass.
really, really cool? What if it's really something that you want?
If I came there for bobblehead night and I expected to get it, I either want it or I want a voucher for something better. I don't want a
You
voucher
went there for the
exact
bobble.
same-
Listen. You went there for the bobblehead because you want to get something for free.
Yes.
And when a team who's honoring a player has a bobblehead night, you want your damn bobblehead.
Exactly.
But if they give you a voucher and say, hey, when we can get another shipment or we can find them somewhere, thrown out of a truck on the middle of a highway somewhere between California and Pittsburgh, depending on the damage, would you take a partially damaged Jaromir Jagr bobblehead doll? I don't think so.
No.
Meanwhile, we got all kinds of stuff. We got men's college basketball as we're heading to championship weekend, where championship week finally ending.
And
2 weeks, it seems like it's been.
we also have a great news UFC update.
Yes, this is a great story. It's a sad story, but it turned out to be a great story. We'll get into that. UFC champion and a tragic situation, and we'll have video to confirm that story. But, of course, going on, Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, will be Selection Sunday and St. Patrick's Day at the same time, Robin. Nothing good could happen with those combinations. Do you agree?
I agree. It's
I mean,
going to
these
be
people who are waiting to put their pools together when they find out, the entire field of the NCAA tournament, they'll be drinking their asses off.
I know, like
Green beer and pools.
Is St. Patrick's Day the penultimate drinking day of all the drinking holidays?
Especially when it's on a weekend. When it's on a Wednesday, it's not a holiday, so people don't get off for St. Patrick's Day, right?
Well, hopefully they do sometimes.
No, it's not a holiday. It's not like a
Never
company
mind.
holiday.
That went right over your head.
I get it, Robin. I understand, but this is a family show here. Come on, Robin. It's about sports. And St. Patrick's Day occurring on the same day as Selection Sunday. Because let's be honest, a lot of the people on Selection Sunday, they're sitting there drinking already.
I know.
But they'll get started earlier because it's St. Patrick's Day. And I'll ask this question, and we have the lines that you can call into. What is the phone number, Robin?
352-234-8669. That's 352-234-TONY.
You come for the bobble, you stay for the head. Now, see, come on now. That's
Don Wallace.
Come on, man.
Now, Don Wallace is double dipping here. Don Wallace is not only on one of the other live streams, but he's also making an appearance here on No Filter.
See,
Streams.
that's the kind of people. Those are the kinds of
fantastic.
loyal listeners that we love. We love every single one of you. Don't get us wrong. If you've been listening to us on No Filter for the last 3 years, we try to bring the fun, bring the funk, bring the noise, and bring the sports that you need. And especially when there's a lot of stuff going on with all these conference championships going on. We got the great golf tournament going on. It's the fifth major, as we like to call it. And I know our buddy Joe Manueli, a big golf guy, a big gambling guy. And so we'll give you an update. Obviously, -7 on the first round is still the number to beat. Rory McIlroy and Xander Schauffele both shot those earlier in the day. 7 under par, 65s. And then you've got a bunch, only one player at -6, and that's Nick Taylor. Then there's a bunch of -5s, bunch of -4s, and -3. So I don't know where the cut number will be, but certainly a lot of big-name players, except the players, of course, who are live players. So while this is the highest-paying non-major, it's the highest-paying tournament of the year, and it's not even a major. $25 million purse for the TPC Sawgrass 50th anniversary. But guess who can't be there? John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Cameron Smith, and Bryson DeChambeau. Not there. Not a game. But because they play for the Live Tour, they are not invited. And I know the PGA commissioner said at the beginning of the week, we got to get this thing straightened out. And the players are bitching too. They're asking Scotty Scheffler, who's the best player in the world and is ready to go on his long run, as now the golf tournaments mean more. And I'm not knocking the previous golf tournaments, but this tournament, let's be honest, the TPC Sawgrass is the biggest golf tournament. You got to go back to last September of 2023 for the Ryder Cup, because that was a world championship event. And let's be honest, all the other preliminaries and all these weekly tour stops, I'm not knocking them. They're great events for the local communities, and the pros play at a lot of them. They don't play on all of them. 144 players in the TPC, and they're getting ready for the Masters. But why I don't know why this isn't one of the majors. Why can't they make a fifth major? Why do there only have to be 4 majors, Robin? And the thing we love and the number we love the most on this show is always, right? What number?
4.
Oh, we're back in the pause now. Look, we're back on the pause.
I know.
4 seconds to allow the 4 machine to come back on. So anyway, it's a great tournament. Everybody loves that course. And hopefully they'll get this thing straightened out. And now there have been rival leagues before. But let's be honest. Whenever you have a rival secondary league, which Live Golf is, even though they're paying more money and they're guaranteeing these guys, and the Saudis have, they drink oil. They bathe in oil. Oil is what they do best. And they had nothing to do with it. It happened to be under the ground, right under their feet, right? And the sheik hits the fan there, and the oil hits the fan, and then the oil sprays all over the place, and all these players take the guaranteed money. So can you blame the players? But some people are hating on the players who signed those lucrative deals to play in the Live Tour. And they have to make a deal, and they know it. The players know it. They have to merge these two things and make it so if they play in a couple of the events in the Live, and obviously on all the major PGA events, the Masters, all the majors, those players should not be excluded from the majors because you're holding a grudge against the Live guys.
Right.
That's the thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Just make the points count, and then get the big names playing in the big tournaments. Get the big names in the majors. Get the big names to all be allowed to play in the TPC at Sawgrass. It's the most anticipated event of the year, and it has the biggest purse. So how do you keep these guys out and say, sorry, guys, you can't play. We don't want to have the biggest names in golf playing in the biggest tournaments. So go over there and play in the Live Tour and screw you. And there are players who feel that way. There are players on the PGA Tour who say, yeah, screw those guys. We should not allow them back in. That's stupid. Look what happened with the USFL last year and the XFL.
Right.
They tried to compete against each other, and it didn't work. So now they combined them, and now there's the UFL this year. So when you try to compete against the NFL, you're trying to compete against the PGA. But the one difference between Live and all of these other secondary leagues that try to have spring football when we know the NFL is king in this country is that there's not enough competition between two leagues for sports fans who want to watch football. Doesn't work because neither league is making money. But when the Live Golf Tournament is paying gazillions of dollars for players, you have to understand that they are a legitimate rival. And so to get rid of that rival and bring them all together, you make a deal. Isn't that how it works in negotiations? But the players who are pissed off at the players who took the Live money should be pissed off at the NFL players who left teams that they were playing on for a long time to go play for another team that's paying them more money. So how is it cool? How is it okay for NFL players to go and move elsewhere when they have the opportunity to move elsewhere when they're free agents and they can negotiate with anyone? But golfers who are being offered guaranteed millions of dollars because they're not guaranteed to win every week on the PGA Tour. They get a chance to play, and if they finish in the top 10, they're going to get a nice check. But if you don't make the cut and you finish low on some of these weekly tour events, you're not guaranteed anything. You got to pay your caddy no matter what. You got to play for that beautiful Airbnb that you're renting. So to me, this doesn't make any sense, and they know it. The Live Golf Tournament knows it, Tour, and so does the PGA Tour. Get this damn thing done, people. Get it done. Because I like to get it done, Robin. You know what I mean?
Yes. Tony, we have some comments from Frisco Native 415. Tony, I've been listening to you since you were on with Gary Radnich every week. Much love. G-Man Music then comments, those were the days when KNBR was KNBR. And the Frisco Native follows up with, no lie, those were great times.
Well,
I am so glad I found the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Well, thank you. Of course, you can get the Tony Bruno Sports Network on the apps now. They're not offered at appetizers. Like if you go into a sports bar, they're not one of the apps.
No.
If you go to Applebee's, although it should be, and it soon will be in sports bars, right?
It will be.
You can download the app anywhere on earth. See, that's the thing about this reincarnation, which is the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
You can download the app while you're in a sports bar eating apps.
Exactly.
Happy hour.
I think it should be offered like when you every sports bar in the world should have, and they all have apps, especially for sports bars, because most of the food people eat in sports bars are typically appetizer-type food, bar food.
Yes.
Now, a lot of them you can get a full meal. You can get yourself clean. You can hang out with all the boys. But the bottom line is there's appetizers, and you order multiple appetizers, right?
Unless you're Tony and all you really want is calamari for the table.
Calamari for the table. But that's an app, too. Calamari is not the main course, Robin. That's an app as well.
Now, we have another texter asking you, this is John Crook asking, ever think about dyeing your goatee?
I used to dye it. Now it's dyeing on my own, like my hair. No, I used to dye my beard, the goatee, when I was on TV every week, because it goes through a stage, and anybody who's had dark hair and then their hair, you don't like that. On television, it doesn't look good when you have what do you call it, Robin? When you have a lot of dark hair still in there and then some light hair. It's not even a salt and pepper thing. It looks dirty. So when it's all one color, you either leave it gray or then you dye it. But the problem with dyeing it is if you leave it in too long, then it looks stupid. Then you look like, oh, look at that guy. He left the hair just for men in too long. And now it looks like now you can tell he's dyeing his beard. So, again, I'm not one of these people. I don't get plastic surgery. I don't go into that. You can do whatever you want with your face. It's America. You can do whatever you want if you can afford it. Go out and do it. I don't tell people what to do or what to think. But, should I dye my beard again, Robin? I need to trim it, though. It's too bushy.
It would be funny to see you with a dyed beard again after all this
Should
time.
I just do like the stripe like wrestlers do?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Maybe do a black stripe right here.
Or like
not the white stripes, because it already would be white stripes.
The music radio host in
Wolfman Jack had the stripe.
He had the stripe, but
a lot
also
of wrestlers do the stripe.
The other guy in Philly did too.
Who had the stripe?
He had like the white stripes down his beard. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know. I know the White Stripes, the group, and we'll
No,
play
he
a
was
block
on the
of the
morning-
White Stripes later on tonight on the network. Captain Tony Albino, yes. Thank you, Chris McQueen. Captain Lou Albano also. But he didn't really have the stripes. He had like his beard twisted, and then he had like rubber bands in them. Remember that?
I remember
He had the
that
really
from
long beard, and then he would put the twisted rubber bands in.
Yes.
I may go with that look if I keep letting it grow.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun video featured him in the front
with
of it.
Cyndi Lauper.
With
That's
Cyndi
great.
Lauper.
No skunk stripes. No, we don't want any of that stuff here. Meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on the players. We'll keep it where the players play, which is usually in Atlanta. Keep an eye on the NFL movement to see whether that situation, whether people are just throwing stuff against the wall or whether they really are trading Brandon Ayuk from the San Francisco 49ers to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which at this hour is still not a confirmed possibility. It's just being thrown around. And I hate when there's rumors flying around because that's what we're living on. Now that we still know who the free agents who are still available. And obviously once you get past the first 4 days, teams are going to look around and see, because they all made their targets. And now the other funny story is that James Franklin, the head coach of Penn State, is now involved in this tampering charge against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Because James Franklin, obviously the coach at Penn State, and obviously Saquon Barkley played at Penn State. And the funniest thing, because we were talking about this starting on Monday with the legal tampering remember, it's now the official NFL's legal tampering period, where you can tamper with other people's players. Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the new league year starts, and then you can't mess around then because then they're free agents, and you can still talk to them, you can still sign them after Wednesday the 13th, but the bottom line is, if you did it before then, if you talked to Saquon Barkley, say the week before, that's not copacetic, that's not kosher, and that apparently is what people are charging or accusing the Eagles of doing. But of course the Eagles knew they wanted Saquon Barkley. That's why they didn't franchise their running back who went on to another team. And so if the NFL is going to have this nonsense, well, we're going to have a legal tampering period. Everybody knows who they want to go after because everybody knows who hasn't been franchised and everybody knows who's available. So why wouldn't you want to lock a guy in? And then you don't have to lock him in. You just call his agent.
Exactly.
And you say, hey, we want your guy. And then they talk contract, even though they can't officially announce it until Monday, because then the agents are the ones who are sending it out to Adam Schefter and all the NFL Network guys.
It's such a stupid.
It's stupid. It is stupid. Speaking of stupid, well, he's all right. He's not that dumb. Let's go to Dean in Clearwater. We haven't heard from in a long, long time. Dean, your thoughts on free agency and anything else that matters in your particular life.
Man, did you make a habit of just ripping me?
I only rip you when I know you're coming on the show. I don't rip you when you're behind your back.
Unbelievable.
I wait to do it to your face because I hate people that rip people behind their backs. I wait for them to be listening, or I'll call them directly, or I'll do it on my social media page like I did with Deadspin. You know, when I rip people, I want them to know that they're being ripped.
Beautiful. Yeah, yes, I haven't called in a while. I'm putting the finishing touches on my bathroom. I'm just waiting on my vanity. It had to be special made to fit in there properly. I couldn't just go out and buy one, unfortunately. But
now, are you filming? Are you filming this for an upcoming HGTV special, Clearwater House renovations?
No, I just obviously when I each stage or two, when I get down there, I'll snap a small video or a picture or two. But I don't think they're gonna. I mean, I'm doing an excellent job if I do say so myself, but I don't think anybody's going to pick this up. I mean, your video is doing home shit way better than mine.
Well, because I'm a professional. Come on, Dean, you're just starting.
Yeah.
By the way, we have this other breaking news now. The New York Football Giants, who lost Saquon Barkley, are now going after the supposed giant killer. You know who that is? The guy on the Philadelphia Eagles who's the giant killer? Boston Scott. Apparently, the Giants are showing interest in former. So did they cut Boston Scott, or is he a free agent? This is from the giant honks out there. Giants are looking to grab the giant killer, Boston Scott, away to replace. Well, first of all, Boston Scott would not replace Saquon Barkley because Boston Scott's not an every down back. He's a good change of pace back, and he's been great for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know whether this is just guys on social media who are trying to make things happen. But these are not official, to me, what I would call trusted sources right now, because they throw shit around on the internet,
or even legitimate rumors.
Exactly.
It's amazing to me, Tony. Like, I can't believe how much Calvin Ridley. What did he sign for? Like 90-something million.
Yeah.
The guy's been in the league 5 years, and he's got 4,000 yards. Oh, I mean, unfreaking believable the money they're just tossing around average Joes.
You sound like a typical battered and broken Boston New England Patriots fan, because all the Patriot fans were saying, "Oh, Calvin Ridley now the Patriots can get him and they'll have a legitimate receiver."
I don't want him.
All right, a lot of Patriot fans.
Tony, what the Patriots need to do is draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and then in the second with their second pick. With the third overall pick, go grab a stud receiver like that. And then with the second pick, go get one of these quarterbacks that still might be either like a Bo Nix or a McCarthy. I mean, I'm looking at the Patriots, what they've done. If you look at what the Patriots have done in this new official league year, there isn't a guy on that. I mean, they got like 12 guys they signed, and there isn't one of them that's going to be a game changer that's making them go from 5-11 or 5-12 or whatever it is now, however many games you play nowadays, to a contender. These are a bunch of mom and pop freaking, wannabes. The Patriots are going nowhere with what they're doing. And if they don't draft Harrison Jr. and then get a QB, if they go after the kid out of North Carolina, which who knows? It's like throwing spit against the wall.
But don't they have the third pick, Dean? They should have a quarterback fall into their laps among the top guys. So why would you have to?
But Tony, how many? I mean, just because someone says, "Oh, this guy should be the number one quarterback," this guy should be the number two. How many end up being bust? I just don't think the Patriots should waste their third pick on a QB when they can get one just as good, as far as I'm concerned. Just like when they pick up Tom Brady in the 6th.
How do you know?
Round.
Sometimes the first pick overall is pretty damn good. But, everybody thought Caleb
Tony,
Williams.
First-round picks?
Everybody thought Caleb Williams was a lock to go to Chicago. Is he still a lock to go to Chicago?
Tony, how many number one draft picks are in the Hall of Fame? Not very many. And usually they're out of the league in 5 years. I don't think you waste a number 3 pick on a QB when there's a handful of them that could all come into New England, and you put Marvin Harrison out there that would be way better off than grabbing a McCarthy or any of these quarterbacks, the North Carolina kid, and then having nobody to throw the ball to. They re-signed Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne. Oh boy! I mean, this is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. They're going to blow this.
You need to call Robert Kraft. When Robert Kraft comes down here to Florida and goes to the Orchids of Asia massage parlor, I think you should also. I'll let you know when he's going to be there, and then I'll call you, and then you go over to the Orchids of Asia. And he'll have a lot of extra money because he's not spending a lot of money because he's gotten rid of a lot of guys. And then you should go in while he's getting the rub down, sneak into the room, and you can smell the Orchids of Asia. And they smell really, really nice. And then you sneak into the room, and while the Asian woman is massaging him, you push her out of the way, and then you start rubbing his back and start adding oil to him.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Remember you seen those movies where there's like they do the – I think James Bond, there were a couple of those movies where he's getting somebody's getting a rub down.
Uh-huh.
And then a chick comes in instead.
Yes.
And then they make out and stuff. But you don't have to make out with Robert Kraft, although I'm sure you did with all the Tom Brady Super Bowls and stuff, right?
I don't want to see no man your age naked.
What do you mean my age? He's a lot older than me, pal. What's the matter with you?
Oh, is he? I figured you're about the same age.
How dare you? How dare you, Dean?
Well, anyway, brother. Robin, how you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good.
Jack is back from the golf course. I let Jack in the back borrow my golf clubs to go play 9 holes today. We'll find how he did when we come back.
Do you still have that number 4 wood persimmon?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
I gave him the whole bag. It had like 50 clubs in it. But he went to a muni, so they're not going to say, "Hey, you got 50 clubs in that bag." They were in storage. So I just gave him the whole bag, threw it in the back of the truck, and let him go play golf. We'll get an update. We'll find out if he is in the leaderboard at the at the 50th anniversary of the TPC at Sawgrass, baby.
Talk to you soon, Dean.
There he is, Dean, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, guys.
Always yelling, always angry. He's a Boston guy. What do you expect? A bitter, battered, broken Boston. And nobody has sympathy for you. The stinking Patriots have won enough. You need to suffer just like everybody else. We're coming right back. Stay around.
It was meant to be. Tony Bruno on the Tony Bruno.
I was 36,000 feet in the air when...
Excuse me, is there a doctor on the plane?
I'm a doctor. The name's Umstick. Dr. Umstick. Get my bag. Stat. Sweet, creamy relief.
Am I gonna be okay?
I have no idea. I'm not a body doctor.
What? Where did you all get those? Can somebody help me?
I'm sorry about him.
Another day, another drumstick.
It's me, America's sweetheart, and I just love having a blast. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Kids party? Having a blast. Stuck in an elevator? Having a blast. Winning. Losing. Having a... Probe me already. Blast. I can have a blast anytime, anywhere.
And with anyone?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. In stores everywhere.
I, too, am having a blast.
Thank you, Agent State Farm.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Cut! Hey, Arnold, I'm hearing neighbor. It's neighbor.
That's what I said. Neighbor.
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 Hey, let's go again.
Like a good neighbor. State Farm is there.
Cut.
Now what?
It's neighbor.
Neighbor.
Cut.
Neighbor. Yeah, neighbor. Just like it's written on the paper. This lady is in labor.
Cut.
Look at this. This is labor. Like a good neighbor. That was the sheep. And you know it.
It's like you're cold.
Yeah, I'm cold. Bah. Neighbor.
Still no.
Like a good neighbor.
Cut.
Burr. Bah. Burr. Bah. Burr. Bah.
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Burr.
Bah.
Burr.
Bah. Get me under this chopper.
It's pronounced chopper.
Don't.
It is.
Neighbor. A little bit more concealer.
Hey, Arnold. Got a bit of a script change.
Script change.
Mm-hmm.
Now back to the biggest sports network on the planet, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Aha! We are back. See that, Robin? I didn't even know that song was coming up.
That's pretty good.
That's the kind of knowledge you get on this show. You can't teach this. This is learned from being old and decrepit and listening to all these crappy songs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, but not today, because today's songs suck. That's just my opinion. You can like whatever you want. Meanwhile, so Jack, he said I didn't leave any golf balls in the bag. Because that bag had duct tape around the outer bag that held it.
We haven't really unpacked it since we
No,
moved.
I haven't played golf in years. So Jack went out there and used the clubs, and I need an update, Jack. Can we give Jack a mic? I need him to.
I don't have an extra mic
Oh,
right now.
damn it, Jack! How did you do? Come over here. I want a quick update. Just yell it out. How was the course?
It was beautiful. We actually managed to see a bald eagle.
I was here. I was in here the whole time. What do you mean a bald eagle? You mean a real bald eagle?
Yeah, a real bald eagle. It had to be a female. She was big. She probably had a wingspan of about 12 feet wide.
How can you tell a female bald eagle from a male bald eagle?
Always larger than the males.
The females are bigger than the males?
Yep.
And then on our way back, we saw it sitting on top.
Get a little bit
closer, Jack.
We saw it sitting on a light post.
An osprey, right?
No, it was the same eagle we saw before, and she was sitting up there. She was massive. And then
Did Howie Roseman, the Eagles general manager, sign that eagle as a linebacker?
And it didn't do the pregame flyover like it does when it does before the game starts. But no, the course was beautiful.
Now it was a Muni, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
So for a Muni here in Florida, it's better than like Munis up north, which are basically don't have any grass in the fairway. Could you tell the fairway from the rough?
It was very clean. The fairways were clean. I hit the trap a couple times. They were clean. The greens were fast. It was really fast.
How many three putts, Jack? Did you pick them up after three putts, or did you keep playing?
No three putts. So I averaged pretty much on the par 6, par 5.
You have your scorecard. I want to do what the pros do. They sit down at the end and they say, on 18, I hit the wedge, and then I took out the putter, and then I hit it from inside the sand trap.
Needless to say, if anybody can see, I definitely caught some sun. I'm really.
It's all right.
Yeah, it was a really nice course. It's funny, when we went into the clubhouse, we had to wait for like 45 minutes, and there were a bunch of old ladies. They're all playing like with the shuffling machines. They were playing like canasta or bridge or bridge. It was kind of funny. So I guess their husbands are out on the course, and they're in the clubhouse, like 8 of them. They're all playing bridge or canasta.
Is it bridge? Can you tell exactly which card game it was, Jack?
No, but what really freaked me out is that they had these card shuffling machines. Like they had like the professional card shuffling.
This is Florida, man. We don't do anything half-assed down here, man. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a roaring round of applause. Jack didn't rack the truck, made it to the golf course and back, saw a bald eagle. How many golf balls did you lose, though? 6 balls. Did you buy a dozen, or did you buy?
You have 6 in your bag.
I don't need the 6 balls. The answer is always 4. Were there any alligators on the course? Did you see any gators?
I looked.
No gators. See? It's safe down here. People think, oh, there's alligators everywhere. Anyway, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jack in the back, having some fun. How many putts we're playing? Well, there's a lot of putts that play golf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The greens were fast. I sank a 20-footer.
Did you sign the scorecard? That's what I want to know.
No.
All right. Anyway, there it is, Jack and Ruth's. Jose called earlier, gave him some love.
Yes.
Now, what do we got going on, Robin?
We have the UFC update.
Yes, we got to do this, Stud. I don't know if you've seen this story. It doesn't actually involve UFC event. It involves a UFC champion. And one of the best stories, again, what happened to him is sad, but the after effect is miraculous, and it's going to make you cry when you watch this video. And if you're watching on No Filter or anywhere else, this is what happened.
UFC star Mark Coleman was battling for his life. I mean, he's still not out of the woods
Remember,
yet.
he was a champion, so this is not some fringe UFC guy.
I mean,
and it doesn't matter whether he's a champion or not. He's a guy that people remember as a UFC champion. So he was at his house, right?
He was at his parents' house, I believe, and that his parents' house caught on fire. And I don't know if he was already in the house when it happened or if he just happened to be there when he saw that there was but it was in Toledo, Ohio. And he ran in, he picked up both of his parents.
Wow.
At the same time, carried them outside to safety, and then the dog, Hammer, his parents' dog, a wonderful Rottweiler. There's photographs of Mark with this dog. His parents loved this dog. He went back in to rescue the dog, and that is when he got a lot of the smoke inhalation. Unfortunately, he was not able to save Hammer the dog, so rest in peace, Hammer. But he then was in a coma. He had
I mean, this guy's a legendary UFC heavyweight.
But I'm going to play a video now. We heard about this story yesterday. We were going to report on it, but obviously we didn't because Tony wasn't feeling well. But today, his daughters videotaped him waking up in the hospital, waking up. So I will play that for you right now.
He was in a coma at first.
Yeah, he was in a coma.
So this is him today in the hospital with his daughters.
Oops, circling. Maybe let me see if I can find a better video. Hang on just a second.
And he made some comments also.
Yes, uno momento. Here we go.
I'm the happiest man in the world. I swear to God, I'm so lucky. I can't believe my parents are alive. I had to make a decision once because I got out of my room and went to the door and it was already horrible. I couldn't breathe. I almost had to go outside. And I went back and got him. I can't believe it. I got him, but I couldn't find Hammer.
Oh, God.
Now, remember, he was in an induced coma in intensive care after he rescued his parents from that house in Toledo, Ohio.
And here, let me see if I can show. This is him and Hammer, who did not survive. He was not able to go back in, and obviously you can tell how devastated he is that he was not able to save Hammer. And then this is the house, if you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. Well, first in the upper right-hand corner, you can see him he was intubated. He was in a coma.
Yep.
Because the smoke inhalation was so bad, they didn't know what his prognosis was going to be. The fact that this is only 24 hours later is absolutely amazing. But then in the bottom, you can see the house. I mean, it's gone. I mean, so he is a hero. The fact that he was able to save both of his parents. If he'd had to do one at a time, one of them wouldn't have made it.
Now, obviously, he's still in great shape, even though he's 59 years old and he's retired for a few years. But he picked him up, and it's an incredible story. And these are the kind of stories we love. We love seeing positive stories because obviously he was burned. He almost died, but he saved his parents and his daughters in the hospital room. After less than a day after he was in a medically induced coma, to wake up in a hospital bed and have his daughters all over him.
And you could still hear in his voice, there was still a lot of liquid in his lungs and stuff.
Let's go to a man who also was in big shape, but he never saved anything except me once in a while. He was a DJ, and he saved my life on the dance floor one night. Our good friend, the great Luigi Curto. What up, brother?
What up, Luigi?
What up? Tony, I was just down at 7th and Snyder. I picked up 150 Yarmir Yager bobbleheads, man. They got them priced to move down there. 2 for 5, 3 for 10. Price to move, Tony.
Price to move, baby. Now, are some of them slightly
Price to
damaged?
move, baby.
Are some of them slightly damaged?
No, they all have beautiful hair. They were all intact. Now they look good. They look good from what I can see, Tony. I got 150 of them. They'll be up on eBay in about 15 minutes or so. By the time
Good
I
job,
go
man. Can you
That's
see
a
if it
good
save a
job out
couple
of
for
you.
me? I need some money to build my house. I need yeah.
I already put aside a couple for you and Robin and the kids, and for Dominic and for Lewis and everybody. So.
Oh, beautiful. You're a good man, man. That's what we love. We love your family.
Man.
You know, your family, man. And that's what's great about this show.
Of course, man.
You know, you started out as a listener, then you became a friend, and then you and Jack, you know, had a falling out, had to go into the ring and fight to the death, and you both survived, luckily, and now you're both here and you're both friends. That's how it works, man. You know what I mean?
Who said I survived? Who said I survived, man?
Well, you're here talking to us.
I mean, are any of us really here, Tony? Are any of us really here? Actually?
Not really.
I was listening to what you were talking to Buster Olney and things like that. You were talking about the Toronto Blue Jays lineup, right, being littered with sons of fathers of former MLB players.
Yeah.
And when you think back, you just go like, you know, like, do these kids can any of these kids have a chance to even be anywhere near as good as their father? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Vlad Guerrero was a great. Vlad Guerrero Jr.
was a great player.
His dad was a great player.
Vlad Guerrero was. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. Vlad Guerrero was probably, arguably, if not the best low ball hitter in the history of baseball. Like, he hit. If it was bouncing, he was hitting. It didn't matter. But I do think that because you have Prince Fielder, who was following in the footsteps of the Cecil Fielder, but he kind of like fizzled out after a little while. You know, he started out really well. He was an all-star, and then he fizzled out. And you look at another guy like Vlad Guerrero. Again, time will tell. He's got a little bit ways to go. But the other person that I was looking at was, and I can't believe his name just evaded my mind as I was bringing it up. Was the only son who I think surpassed his father by leaps and bounds was Ken Griffey Jr.
And Barry Bonds. I mean, Barry Bonds is another guy, too.
Barry Bonds. Yeah, Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonds and Ken Griffey Sr. I think
absolutely.
Those are the only two.
Yeah, there's probably other ones that we can't think of, but you look at the George Springer. You know, he's obviously one of the best hitters in baseball, George Springer.
Oh, no doubt. Perennial all-star. Yeah, he's absolutely one of the best players at his positions and all in baseball altogether.
And when you look at the other players on this team, you know, I mean, obviously they were disappointing in the last couple of years in the playoffs. You know, they got a great roster. But George Springer, leadoff guy, unbelievable. And then you mentioned all the sons. You got who else is on that team now? I gotta look it up because I'm watching these guys walk up. I said, oh, that's so-and-so's son. Oh, no, that's so-and-so's son. They have
right. It's so funny, man.
It is incredible. You know, you got Gary Varshaw's son is on the team. Gary Varshaw.
That's one of the guys I forgot. It's because a little bit obscure. The last name's a little obscure. That's why I forgot it.
No, but these are their dads were good players. And when you look at this, you look at the roster. I mean, it's just incredible how many players are on that team whose dads were major leaguers as well.
Yeah, and speaking of players, you know, how were the players looking for you down there at spring training when you and Robin and Jackson, Ruth, and happy birthday to Ruth, by the way. Happy belated birthday to Ruth.
It was yesterday, yeah. Ruth's birthday yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think she it was 25 again, right? She turned 25
exactly. Yes.
Just like me.
Just
right.
like Robin.
Yep.
Same age. I was literally just saying same age as Robin. Same age as Robin. I mean, it's amazing. But did you get but how was it? What was the feel like down there?
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, even all the fields and the complex there in Clearwater, every practice field is absolutely perfectly manicured. I mean, it's just heaven. They take care of the fields. I mean, you could seriously, the groundskeepers here in Florida and in Arizona. I mean, these professional ball clubs put a lot of money into their minor league complexes. But Clearwater is beautiful. I mean, the Red Sox park down here. It's a little mini. It's a mini. Fenway Park. They got the Green Monster in left field, the replica of it. The Monster.
Yeah. Is there a bunch of drunk guys? Is there a bunch of drunk guys fucking smoking Marlboro Reds, drinking Dunkin' Donuts outside of it, waiting for it to open in the morning?
Absolutely, but that's everywhere here in Florida, because you come down
No,
here.
but that gives you the real feel. That gives you the real feel. Gives you the real feel.
But even the monster, the scoreboard, they have the old school guy takes the thing out and puts the actual score in there, like a 0 after every inning or how many runs scored. It's phenomenal, man.
That's amazing. That's fun, man. So what are the crowds like that? I've never been to spring training.
Oh, they're packed. They're sold out. The Phillies games are sold out. The Toronto game, no tickets available. The place was packed to the gills. But, because we know people. And so we got a couple nice seats there right behind the dugout. Fanatic came over, rubbed my head. It was just a beautiful day. The weather's perfect. That's why people come down here every year from the north. They come from Canada. They come from Alaska. We see license plates from Alaska. Imagine that drive from Alaska all the way across the country down to the southernmost part of Florida on the west coast. It's unbelievable, man. It's just unbelievable.
Talk about needing sun. Shit.
Yeah, we got Maine. It doesn't matter. You see all the license plates. You got Maine. You got Rhode Island. All the Northeast. You got Canada. You got Quebec. You got Ontario. All the Quebecois. They come down here because they're white too. You know what I mean? It's all the white people that come down here.
Well, the only license plate you got to worry about and be weary of is the New Jersey license plate. Because if it's there, that guy can't drive for shit.
Exactly.
But
the Jersey drivers and the Florida drivers, they're the two most dangerous license plates
we were concerned. We had to loan our truck to Jack in the back.
And he's a Jersey driver.
Yeah, he's a Jersey driver.
And then you got all these Florida drivers, and a lot of them are old. And a lot of them should not be driving a car. Jack's not old yet, so he's not there.
But he's from Jersey, it's bad enough.
Jack's not old.
No, Jack's a cop,
Jack's
too.
Not old.
Jack's a cop, too.
Jack is also very experienced.
He's very experienced, yes.
Very experienced.
And Jack loves talking to other cops. Jack got a present for you. He's got a Friends and Family of Law Enforcement Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police card here. So if you get stopped,
he got me a FOP card. But when I was born, Tony, I'm Italian. They gave me a WAP card.
Well, the
Two
WAP
totally
card,
different things, but they still work the same.
It's on your
the
birth
WAP
certificate.
card gets you out of trouble.
My birth certificate has a stamp, a WAP stamp on it. But this says, please extend courtesies of our organization to the bearer of this card. And there it is, Luigi Curto, signed by Jack O'Donnell.
I got one. I put it right next to my driver's license.
Right there. So if you get stopped and you have one of those fake paper license plates that everybody in Philly seems to be driving around with because they steal a car and they put a paper plate on it, and then they have fake IDs and everything else, you whip this baby out and you say, do you know who I am? I am a friend of law enforcement. Pennsylvania
I'm a friend
fraternity.
of Jack O'Donnell.
I'm a PA, FOP. You down with FOP?
Yeah, you know what they're going to say to me?
What?
I need you to step out of the car, son. I need you to step out of the car, son.
Step out of the car. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands on the trunk and spread them.
Yeah, spread them. I'm sorry. I already saw my proctologist officer. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. And just like him, I'm going to ask, why are your hands on my shoulders?
Exactly right. Exactly.
Jesus Christ. You know what I need? You know what I need? I need an update. We got updates on a lot of things, Tony, on this program.
Well, we only have like a minute and a half left, Luigi.
That's all right. I can do a lot in a minute and a half. Just ask, never mind. So
you have an update? Give me an update here.
Quick, 30
What's
seconds.
What's going on with the boat, dude? Is the boat fixed or what?
Boat fixed? I'm not even fixed. No, the boat is still basically sitting there, and it needs to be pulled out and fixed. You know what I'm saying?
It needs to be pulled out. We need to have it.
You got to pull it out, clean the bottom, and then put that sumbitch back in. But I need you to come down here and help me build the house because you helped us fix the house in Philly. I need a shovel. I need a man who's strong. I need a strong man. To strong man this whole deal. We're going to put the shovel in the dirt next week. We need to do the official gold shovel digging of the first shovel.
Groundbreaking?
The groundbreaking ceremony, yes. I need you to come down here.
Yeah, I'm in, dude.
All right, because we're out of time, Luigi.
I'll come help you.
We got a hard break here.
All right, that's no problem, man. Listen, I love you guys. Take care. You guys asked me to call in today because you got the great Phil Martelli coming on tomorrow.
And we appreciate you calling in a day earlier. And we will talk to you. We'll talk to you over the weekend, I'm sure.
Exactly, man. Love you. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the great Luigi Curto.
Bye.
We want to thank everybody who tuned in today, all the callers, all the texters. We had another fun day. We got it all covered for you. Obviously, a lot of basketball, Selection Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. Don't drink and be careful out there. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Don't get stoned and drive. And most importantly, God bless America, because at this hour, it is still the greatest place on earth. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Stay tuned for Bleacher Brothers, 8 p.m. on Tony Bruno Sports Network. And tomorrow morning, Pete Sheppard, starting at 7 a.m.
Beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful.
There's only one real place for total sports. That's the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
You are a human on Earth. And throughout all of humanity's existence on Earth, there have been ideas, strides, and accomplishments.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver-Outer.
Mr. Bowling Shoe Giver-Outer.
Your tireless efforts keep our feet comfy